Okay, and welcome back to Sector 1 at Monza. Sorry about that to everybody. We've had some technical difficulties. Anyway, we're not going to skip around the bush too much as we are running behind now, and we've got the guys waiting with a 2-hour race ahead of them. Joining me in the combox tonight is Captain Muffin. How you going, mate?
Sensational Snake Eyes. Good afternoon to everyone at home. Hope you're all doing well. Apologies once again for the delay. Unfortunately, not so sober John. Tampered with the commentary box before we got up here just to be a little smart ass prick he is. But I digress. Either way, we're here tonight at Monza for the first of our 4 Enduros for our 4 divisions here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. And let me tell you, I'm excited to see what the guys do here tonight. The Division 1 boys up. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly pop up the track map and we can have a quick look at that. Like I say, we don't want to waste too much time now that we're running behind. So, yep, tonight we're at Monza. It's a 2-hour a race, an enduro race. It's a nearly a 5.8 kilometer, 11 turn track. We have 3 times tire wear, 2 times fuel, and 12 times for the time, and 6 litre fuel rate. And then I'm just going to quickly pop through. We might have a quick look to see how the points are adding up tonight. See who's on top. So we are the main division tonight, Division 1. So we've got Mountain Goat with 118, BSR Foss 109, Wakey 006 with 95, John 27, 95 also, Niff at 90, Ricky Bobby 85, Tim Durag 68, Lemon Spill 64. Both of those are not in tonight. So I think we have a couple of other drivers bumped up. I'm not sure if that's CP and Banana. Do you know
I can
offhand,
confirm for
Captain?
you. It's CP, you have that right, and you also got Heafy jump up to Division
And
1 tonight.
Heafy. Okay. Cool. So then we've got Lenosis, Old Wakey, Dadson, Stickers, Evil Evo, Karen Unleashed, CPJ50, and Heafy on tonight. Okay, what do you reckon after that terrible slow start there? We might look at doing the qualify and let these guys maybe get going. What do you
That
think?
sounds like a good plan to me, Snake Eye. I reckon let's push the big green button and get the session underway for a 10-minute qualifying session before we go racing for 2 hours here at the Temple of Speed.
Let's do it.
Now, everyone, don't be afraid if you want to. We don't need to normally do this, but chuck in your predictions. Who's going to get pole? Who's going to be starting, I guess, sort of like high than what it normally would? Who's going to... Oh, that's probably about really. Pick your top 3 for qualifying if you want to. Top three for the race if you want to. Cars rolling down the pit lane now. Disengage pit lane speed limiter. I'll let you run through the grid, Snake Eyes.
All right, just give me just a moment to sort these things out. Okay, so leading us out, although it might be about to change, we've got Mountain Goat, Ricky Bobby, John 27, BSR Foss. We have Niff, Stickers 63, Lenosis, Evo. I think it's done one of the old GT7 switcheroos. There are a few people that are going past. Ricky Bobby, Old Wakey, BSR Foss, Mountain Goat, S1 Dadson, Wakey 006, Niff, Effie, Aaron Unleashed, CPJ50, John 27, and what he said, Stickers. So
I'll be honest, you said a few of them twice, but that's okay. We got through the grid, that's what matters.
yeah, keep switching around and everything. So, and unfortunately, I've had more dramas in the comms box with a cable unplugged. The cleaning person hasn't done a proper job, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think the Italians here, they're more about the passion rather than the functionality, for lack of better terminology, I guess. But yeah, no, well, notice he's currently leading the way. Your first person to set a flying lap here will be on notice in about 1.5 minutes time, just over. As Wacky goes into the pits there on the end of the first lap. Very interesting strategy. Maybe possibly looking at trying to just dry and use up the fuel tank, I should say, to have a lighter car at the end of the qualifying session. Very unique, but hey, look, if it works, it works.
Yeah, quite often you usually see it, they at least try and put, something down just so they've got a bit of a backup just in case things don't go properly. But I don't know, unless you had the wrong tyres on or something. But considering we're mostly running, we are pretty much running softs this season. It is all wet, so yeah, maybe just a little bit of strategy going on there.
Quite possibly. I didn't think there was any rain forecast for this race, but maybe he was just wearing in a set of intermediate tyres, getting rid of that sort of that shiny mould release, as they call it, to make the tyre good to go as soon as they strap it on, provided it does rain. But right now, these skies are pretty clear here at Monza, so I can't see any sort of real shot of rain coming in, but I've been surprised before.
Yeah, no, hopefully it's a dry track for him. To be honest, I think this track 2 hours and having a heap of rain would probably slow things down quite a bit.
Yeah, even though there's a temple of speed, yeah, add some water and yeah, lap times are going to blow out without a doubt here. Just looking through the grid as well, everyone's looking to be setting a pretty good first lap so far, except for Old Wahey currently, who just served a half-second penalty going down to the Parabolica, or whatever its new name is, I refuse to use. So the first one across the line will notice this. Let's see what time he can pull out here. 1:47.6, pretty respectable time, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah,
Eve Lever just behind him.
Ricky Bobby 1:46.7. There were some predictions today in the Discord chat, and I noticed some saying low 47s to mid 47s. So yeah, you'd expect quality to be at least a second or so faster.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I can confirm to you, I did see Ricky Bobby have a slipstream for most of that lap just gone. Not trying to take away, he did still do a good lap. A lap that was quickly eclipsed just then by John 27 TCT, which really, looking at that, I'd say John's your red hot favourite for getting pole in my opinion, because I think Mount Goat also may have had a little bit of a slipstream in that qualifying session. Sorry, my apologies, that past lap just gone. John did his all on his own, and he's gone just, exactly 1/4 of a tenth of a second behind Mountain Goat there, all on his own, which really, that should be danger signs for the rest of the grid. If he's able to do that on his own, imagine what he can do in a pack.
Yeah, and with this sort of track as well, you've got these long straights and you've only got a few sort of chicanes, so probably going to take a little while to get those tyres up to temp. So I sort of expect maybe to see the lap times come down a bit once we get towards the end of the session.
Very much so, yeah. And currently, the Wacky father and son combo, not having the best start so far, with Old Wacky having served that penalty on the last lap there, and Young Wacky got a 1 second penalty on this lap, currently sitting 13th and 14th respectively. Definitely, I got a feeling Young Wacky especially, he's going to want to be going faster than that. He's currently in somewhat of a championship fight here in this part of the season, as the notice improved with 1:47.1. Great lap from him. Ricky Bobby with 1:46.9, improves his time, not his position. Foz to P3 now. Dethrones Ricky Bobby from that last step of the podium spot, so to speak. Also, Nif to P5, something I missed there quite completely.
Yeah, and less than 2/10 from first to second currently. And then you go back to 6th and 7th, and they're right on each other as well. Looks like Wakey might get a bit of a slipstream too from Datsun here, so.
Let's see here, Stickers to improve your time just then as well to 1:48.2, puts him in 12th. Karen come out of the pit lane just there for the fresh set of boots on. Currently sitting 13th with 1:48.5.
See Datsun pull out of the way and let a couple of guys through Old Wakey and Evil, so he must have either been off the pace a little bit or decided to do the gentlemanly thing and let a couple of guys through, which is always really good to see, especially when it comes to qualifying.
Speaking of stuff, it's really good to see, and I'm going to be a little bit of bias here, but the car in P11 currently, CPJ50 for CP Motorsports, running a special edition livery. The guy at the CP didn't run a sort of retro livery last round at Bathurst, but they've come out swinging now. with a half livery. Half of the car in what looks to be CPJ's regular livery, and half of it in what looks to be his teammates Debrev's. Which I don't mind the half livery. I think that's very well done there from Chase.
Yeah, I like the look of it. I always like them half and half. They always remind me of a character called, I think it was Deathstroke, had a mask that was half and half colour.
Yep, absolutely.
Looks very good, that car. Like most of the cars on track, but yeah, that CP Motorsports car looks absolutely outstanding. And I think with that Aussie tyres design down the side.
Definitely is very good. Something else happened there as well as Heafy improves his time to P7 there. Old Wacky also lost it on the exit of the second Lesmo, as I was looking at the livery of CPJs there. There we are, 147.1 from young Wacky. Puts in P7 currently, his first sort of real representative time here. Still got 2 minutes to go to the qualifying session, so we'll have time for 2 more hot ones.
Yeah, we'll see Mountain Goat has gone in and pitted, so has John. Interesting to see if he gets around and gets that out lap and then gets another race lap in.
Currently for John, with the spot he's at the track here, if he doesn't mess about in this outlap, he should get 2 flyers, but if he sort of takes it easy to try and get the tyres up to a good temperature, he only get the 1.
I'll tell you what, Heafy was one of the guys that bumped up, wasn't he? So he'd have to be happy. He's currently sitting in 8th, and he's only 0.03 off Wakey, so he'll be really happy with that. Datson's not far behind either. Yeah, there's like, you go back to, I think actually if you go back to 9th, it's only just over half a second difference between the top 9. That's pretty damn close on a track that's 146, 147 lap times.
Oh, absolutely, especially a track where it's just all about straight line speed. As Lenosis punches in a time to go P3, 146.8 there from Luscious Lenosis. Excellent drop there from the Pink Wheel Panther.
I think anyone dropping into the 146s would have to be extremely happy from the looks of it.
Oh, mate, I'd be happy to drop into the 48 for the speed I show. But I digress. Just want to say as well, currently spread the field. Currently P8 to the lead of P1 is currently 0.4 of a second. As Young Wacky extends that gap, goes to pole. 146.749, gets it by just under, my apologies, a 0.25 of a second. Wow, what a lap, clutch lap.
That is just absolutely nothing, eh? Like, that sort of time difference is, like, he couldn't even, like, the slightest movement on the throttle coming out of a corner is more than that. So that's crazy. And then you look at, it's the same, nearly exactly the same again, back to John 27.
Currently right now, there's just over half a tenth covering the top 5 cars here at Monza. And there's currently cars set in blue and purple sectors. Currently, we've hit the 10-minute mark on this qualifying session. First car to cross the line and do their final lap will be Lenosis. He's currently up by 0.75 of a second on his best lap. If he keeps this up, he will go to pole.
Yeah, and you look at that, Lenosis is like, it's that 900th or so of a second off John. These guys are just absolutely so close. It shows you just how competitive these guys are.
Well, Lenosis coming up to the start-finish line. First car to finish. Let's see if he can improve his time. He does. Not by much, though. Goes to P3. 12 thousandths of a second improvement. Ricky Bobby served a penalty there and unfortunately wasn't able to improve his time. Let's see. No improvements.
0.003 difference.
Right, yeah. Next car across the line will be Mountain Goat, closely followed by Foz and Nif. Let's see if these guys can improve. And Goat does! 46.731. The margins are tied at the top. Nif also improved there, I believe, and so did BSR Foz, but didn't improve their positions accordingly. Ooh. It's tied at the top here at Monza. No improvement there from Old Wacky. He sells for P10. Karen, 148.174, puts in P14. Oh, 1.5 seconds off pole, and that puts you last. That is... Oh, you'd hate to see that. Looks of it, that's all the cars on a hot lap currently. That's everyone. That's the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Currently your top three: Mountain Goat, Young Wacky, and I believe that was John that I just missed. Whew. All I noticed, my apologies.
Wow.
God. What a session. What a session.
Yeah, that was absolutely just full on then.
Right, yeah, then. Well, I think, yeah, look, while you're getting the results ready, ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid to chuck your predictions into the race now in regards to the podium, because we've got 2 hours ahead here. I wouldn't say your top three that are there now will stay that way in 2 hours' time. Anything's possible here at Monza, and I'm sure there's going to be a few different strategies on offer. Some going for more aggressive strategies, some going for more conservative, trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Keep track positions, not the word, but they'll do. So yeah, don't be afraid to drop in your predictions. But guys, I'll let you take it away with the results when you're ready.
Yeah, so we have Mountain Goat with a blistering 146.731 on pole. And barely behind him, we've got Wacky 006 with a 146.749, so it's a 0.018 difference. And then back into third with a 0.067 difference from first is Lenosis. John 27 in fourth, BSR Foss in fifth, Ricky Bobby in sixth, seventh is Miff. And these guys, that from first to seventh is less than 0.2 of a second. And then we go to just under half a second for eighth. So them top 7 guys, there's I don't know how you could sort of split those sort of times up like this. If they're that close to each other, it's insane. Ninth we have Datsun, still into the low 147s. Old Wakey in 10th, CPJ50 in 11th, Evil Evo in 12th, Stickers in 13th, and Paradise Unleashed in 14th, I should say.
I was going to say there first, hang on, you're reading the grid upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
There's got a couple of drivers, I believe, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Getting rid of some ballast, for lack of better terminology, before we go racing for 2 hours. So I was going to take this opportunity to jump into the chat here and say good day to a few people that are in there. So good day, good afternoon to Robert Rice, Dunder Heafy, who's on the grid here actually, Mr. Bumcrack, aka the Plumber, CDXL, Womble, Old Prospector Dadson, currently sitting P9 on this grid, Carbon Boy, Not So Sober John, The Stranger, Killer on the Loose, Damien Reed, Gers also here as well, Keza Johnson, Warpig, Laminator. Make sure you give John plenty of smack if he doesn't do well this race. You got my permission too. SJ Pruski's here as well, leader of ABR Autosport Automotive. I'm not sure what the technical terminology is. And Sways. Welcome to all you guys here. But I think all the have relieved themselves. They're in the cars ready to go racing. So if you're ready to go, Snake Eyes, I think I'm ready to go as well.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we should hold them up any longer. I reckon these guys are ready to go. Hopefully they've had a bit of a drink and anything else that they need to do, and we can kick off. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. That big red button has been pushed. It's time to go racing here at Monza for 2 hours. The first of your 4 Enduros, 4 consecutive weekends, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off with Division 1 boys, let's head to the grid and get ready to catch all the action.
We are up. We are 5 lights. And we are out of here. Let's see how we go. A nice clean start. They've got 2 hours ahead of them. Hopefully they all don't try and push for that first chicane, which is pretty tricky, especially on coldish tyres.
Yep, everyone here going down. Everyone keeps it nice and clean so far. A little bit of argy-bargy, nothing too bad. Everyone's still facing forward. Yep, cool. I think we're all good. Everyone's made it through alive. P1 racing here, ladies and gentlemen.
Drop down through the field a little bit. Just have a look from the single filing it pretty well at the moment. A couple of double ups on the corners, but it is a pretty high speed section as we come into the first chicane. Looking good so far. So
Currently, yep, we'll go on, sorry.
I'll just do a little bit of a quick run through of how they are at the moment. I know we're only on the first lap, but we'll go have a look through. So Mountain Goat leads us out. John 27 in second. Young Wakey in third. BSR Foss in fourth. Ricky Bobby in fifth. We have Moses in sixth. Did he lose out a little bit? Because I thought he was a little bit higher up in those qualies.
I absolutely was going to say the sort of winners and losers from the start of that race there while you're going through the grid. Currently, John +1, Young Wacky -1. Ricky Bobby just had the penalty there. He's going to drop back a fair bit with that 1 second penalty. Moses did start third, was down to sixth before his teammates had that penalty, now down fifth. BSR Foz, I believe, was in sixth, but now up to fourth. So it was a great start there. That's Heafy! Heafy's gone! Oh, bit of contact there with other cars at the Parabolica and just, yeah, must have hit the AstroTurf, and that was all she wrote, unfortunately. Hopefully you might be able to catch that on the Liquid Solutions action replay if you can.
Yeah, I have hopefully captured it, and I'm not sure if I actually got it.
While you're looking for that, I'll commentate on the action up at the front here. Currently, Mountain Goat leading the way by about 0.3 of a second over John. Currently very tight at the top. Young Wacky, after being displaced from his front row, starts in P3, currently 0.6 of a second behind John. BSR Foz there in P4 with a little bit of sort of clean air. Lanosis sort of hands in from the back, half a second behind. Nif there in P6, followed closely by Ricky Bobby in P7. A little bit of air gap there at 1.2 seconds big. That's back to Datsun in P8, closely followed by Old Wakey in P9. Evil Evo is also part of the party, rounding out your top 10. Carrying on Leisure up starting to the back of the grid, currently up to P11 so far, good job from him. CPJ and Stickers following closer behind in P12 and 13 respectively. Then Heafy down P14 after that unfortunate spin at the Parabolica at the end of the first lap there.
Right, yeah, I didn't quite catch it on the replay. I don't think.
That's alright, no problem at all. I'm sure we'll go back through the replay ourselves later on and try and find a good visual of that. But for the time being though, every car is very much single file, trying to make the most of that slipstream. One thing I will say, from what I was looking at in the practice sessions, Young Wacky's car seems to be a lot more downforce focused, which is a very interesting setup to use at a place like Monza. He does get a fair bit of benefit through the corners when he's in clean air, but as soon as he catches up to the car in front, that dirty air ruins all of that sort of extra aero he's trying to make the most out of, and then once they hit it straight, he can't catch back up. So really, he's currently hoping for, I guess, either clean air to go long into the race and to try and sort of keep track position over doing extra pit stops, so he's going to have to pray for the cars in front to fight each other. As Young Wacky there gets a 1 second penalty on the first part of the second chicane, very easy to do there. The track limits here are very strict. If you put all four tyres beyond one very thin white line, you'll get pinged for it.
Yeah, it's pretty unforgiving, some of these tracks with those penalties. 1 second, that's quite a fair sting as well. It's going to slow you down quite a lot. Sometimes them half a second penalties, and depending on where the penalty box is, it doesn't hurt you too much. I'll just have a bit of a look to see what that drops, because he's actually 1 second ahead of BSR Foss, so let's just have a bit of a look and see what that does to him.
Loses out to Foss, goes too wide with Lanosis through the last corner here. Lanosis holding the outside line, but can't get the traction on, but does have the slipstream now going to T1. What it has done though, those two are going T wide. Nif and Ricky Bobby have got a sensational run. Got a bit of a slingshot effect going on here down to the first corner. Lanosis pulls out of the slipstream, goes to the inside line, gets alongside. Niff and Ricky Bobby can't do the same, unfortunately. Notice gets on by, even before the braking zone. He's already completely in front. As Wacky tries to go around the outside, becomes the inside. Can't make it stick, unfortunately, this time around. A little bit squirrely on the exit, and right now Niff wants part of the action too.
Yeah, so effectively they lost him 2 spots, and then he's now got Niff and Rick and Bobby sitting right on his backside as well. So, yeah, that 1 second is hurting quite a lot, especially at this point of the race.
Yep, Wacky though wants to try and get that spot back, goes up the inside. Can't make a stick there, becomes the outside as Niff goes the old switcheroo. Niff to P5! What a move!
Nice work.
Yep, then Ricky Bobby also wants part of the action. First Lesmo gets the move done. Wacky after starting the front row, now down P7. Tries to get the move back down Ricky Bobby. Or Ricky Bobby around the outside, can he hold it? Oh, it's tight. And he's done it. Ricky Bobby maintains P6 there, I should say. And what it has done though, the cars in front just have to pull away. Currently your podium of Mountain Goat John and BSR Foz, bit of deja vu saying these 3 names together, currently got about a 2-second gap to the rest of the field. Wowee.
I just wonder if someone should send them guys a message and say, hey guys, this is a 2-hour enduro. You're 4 laps in and there's a fight for sheep stations. It's
Look,
yeah, that's that close in. They're all trying to get a decent spot, I guess. But this opening few laps, yeah, that's pretty fun.
see, normally I'll agree with you as a race car driver, but as a commentator, I'm hoping they fight for the whole 2 hours because I don't want to watch the Group 3 version of DRS train going on.
No.
Right now, though, going into turn 1, Ricky Bobby under a threat here from Wacky. Wacky goes deep under brakes, gets the inside line, gets the position. Ricky Bobby concedes this one, but he will have a slipstream going to the second chicane. Will he be able to get close enough to make a return serve move here?
What's getting me is Mountain Goat's out the front, and he looks like he's got stuff in any fuel strategy. Because he's dropped into a 146.9.
That's a sensational race up to be doing, especially on lap 4. So those tyres have got a little bit of age too. They're nothing too bad, thankfully.
But that's like, he's like a couple of tenths off his qualifying pace, and he's doing that in a 2-hour enduro. And I'll just have a quick look because I don't think John's in the low 147s. He's 3/4 of a second off him, so that's some crazy. I didn't think that they would be running those sort of times in an enduro.
Currently, yes, John has not cracked the sub 47s yet. However, going through that last sector split just there before the Ascari chicane, he was purple on the Goat's time there by 0.003 of a second. Currently just slipstream range as Wacky goes wide in the background there on the exit of the Ascari chicane, but holds it. So John here should improve his lap time. Not by too much, I believe, but we'll see.
It looks like Wacky's got another penalty, unfortunately. Just a half a second one this time, but he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, look, honestly, not the way you want to start a race after starting on the front row to go down to P6, about to be P7. And really, if this lap of his isn't too good, he could be down to P8 by the time he serves that penalty.
Yeah. Just looking at some of these guys further back down the field. Old Wakey, CPJ50, they're into the low 48s, high 47s. Same with Stickers, Aaron Unleashed, Eefy, it's into the 47s. And he's probably running a little bit better time than Karen, so I don't know whether he might have had a little bit of a bad start or what, but it'd be interesting if these guys are short shifting at that a little bit more and trying to save fuel, so we're probably going to see a few different strategies pan themselves out as this goes on, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely right there. I'm just having a look through the field right now, just sort of trying to get a gauge of what people are doing, and currently, right now, the only car that I can see on like some different form of strategy would be Karen. He possibly, saying this with a very big asterisk next to it, he could be trying to do a 2-stop strategy. I think the 3-stop has been the meta a lot of people have been talking about. He could be trying to do a 2-stop here, but right now he is saving fuel. He's probably doing really well fuel right now with speaking to the rest of the field, but he's currently 2 seconds left down on Mountain Goat there, fastest lap comparison wise. Like, yeah, sure, you're saving a pit stop, but over the course of a 2-hour race, a pit stop's only like 20 something seconds. You're not going to find 20 seconds in saving that much fuel. In fact, you're probably going to lose 20 seconds saving that much fuel.
Yeah, I just wouldn't think trying to do that. Like, if you can save a little bit of fuel compared to the cars around you and get that little, maybe a little bit of a jump in the pits, but yeah, I think trying to save one whole fuel stop might be pushing it a little bit too much, especially when everyone's running the same car, because everyone's sort of, like, we can have different setups. Guys could be running a little bit less aero, they could be running different gearing, which changes things, but at the end of the day, yeah, a whole pit stop to save a whole pit stop, if you're only going to save 20 seconds or so, would really hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And currently, going back to the middle of the field as well, the World Championship battle for P6 is still raging on between Wacky and Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby there, unfortunately, with a 0.5 second penalty to be served this lap. Tries around the outside. Oh my god! He's on Oscar Piastri on young Wacky there, around the outside of the second chicane. What a move!
Yeah, I reckon he's pushing pretty hard because he's lost a few positions to those penalties, and he's pushing some pretty decent lap times out. So I reckon he's trying to push his way back up the field, to be honest.
Yeah, I think young Wacky here currently, whatever strategy he's on, it's definitely not a conservative one. After having an unfortunate start there, dropping down to where the position he's in now in P7, yeah, he's not messing about. He just wants to get back to the front of the field as quick as possible and try and sort of shrink that gap to that lead car Mountain Goat, which is out to 8.5 seconds at this point, which is, God, it's 7 laps, 8.5 seconds. Ricky Bobby, he's, oh no, Ricky Bobby spun! Oh, but hang on, no, he saved it! Lost a bit of time, served the penalty. I'm not sure if it counts as it, but I'm going to call it car control. Yeah, just hit the AstroTurf on the exit of the Ascari chicane, and if you hit it the wrong way, it will flick you straight into that outside wall. Thankfully, managed to do a 720 no-scope, face the car forward again, and keep it going.
Back up the front to have a look at the... Yeah, I tell you what, there's nothing between Mountain Goat and John 27. There's 3/4 of a second, and then 1.8 back to VSR Foss. So yeah, these guys. It'll be interesting to see if John might be saving a little bit of fuel because he's sitting that close to Mountain Goat. He might be able to jump him in the pits, but he might even wait towards the end if he is saving a bit extra fuel. Because if he jumps him now, like the first pit stop, then that would allow Mountain Goat to do exactly the same thing. So a lot of strategies come into play, especially with these long enduro races.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, right now John's got, I think, a long game here. Like, he's well and truly in the slipstream. He's getting a tug along from Mountain Goat there, who's currently punching a big hole in the air in the shape of a BMW for him. I think it's, John, it might be worth for him to possibly stick behind for stint 2 and stint 3 if he does go for the 4-stop strategy, or 3-stop, my apologies, and just sort of let Mountain Goat sort of, I guess, pull him along, get him up the field, and then in that last pit stop there they do, should have a shorter fuel load to drop in, and might be able to pull maybe a second or two gap on Mountain Goat there, and then just maintain that gap for the rest of the race.
Yeah, because he's definitely got the pace, and with Mountain Goat sitting hitting that 146, and he's still look at Mountain Goat, yeah, so he's still hitting mid 147s to low 147s, you know, so he's definitely not hanging about.
Not at all, but well, I think currently we're about 15 minutes into this race, or just under, so I'd say, look, I'm not saying anyone's going to do a 4-stop, but if they were hypothetically to do a 4-stop strategy, we probably would see a pit stop relatively soon, so I feel it might be a good time for a quick little APL Automotive Tyre and Fuel update.
I think you could be onto something there.
Right here, ladies and gentlemen, your APR Automotive Tyre and Fuel update brought to you by the lovely people at APR Automotive. You're in safe hands. So, currently, your leader of the race, well, leader of the race, my apologies, Mountain Goat 13 there, currently with a 3/4 of a second lead over John, currently has got just over half a tank of fuel. Tyre wear, the right hand side, I guess, or driver side if you want to call it, is looking pretty good. Left side probably about half worn on both tyres I should say, but overall car's looking quite nice. John there in P2. Tyre-wise, copy and paste for Mountain Goat and John there, exactly the same. However, John has got a smidgen more fuel. There's not much in it, but he has got a small advantage. Foss there into P3. Tyre-wise, once again, copy and paste. These guys are using the tyres the exact same way across the top three here. Fuel-wise, though, he's probably the worst off currently, probably maybe with a few percent less than the two cars in front. Nothing too bad, but enough to sort of, I guess, pull him away from the top two when they all have their first pit stops. As we got a spinner there in the background at the Scarra chicane, I've just noticed, Karen Unleash has spun.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Yeah, I just noticed out of the corner of my eye there. Sorry to interrupt your tyre and fuel update. I just wasn't sure who, unfortunately, had a moment. But that's all right. Well, now that's sorted. We'll head back to P4 there, Neff, to give you his update. Currently, he's got about the same fuel as John in front of him, and tyre wear he's used a touch more on that left-hand side of the car, but overall, pretty well the same as the cars in front. We'll notice there in P5, he has got probably the best fuel of the grid so far. Once again, not by much. All the margins are quite fine, but he's currently the best off from what I can tell. In tyre wear, he does look to be slightly better than the cars in front, but yeah, it's a minuscule amount, not enough to really make a difference. Young Wacky there in P6, trying to fight back his way to the front of the field where he started. Currently, probably the worst off on fuel, a smidgen over half a tank, so he's going to have a bit of a disadvantage there in 15 minutes time possibly. Tyre-wise, probably about the same as the cars in front, like your top two, top three, sort of like in that average half a one on the left-hand side. Evil Evo there in P7, dead on half a tank currently, which is probably not a good sign, but for his strategy, but we'll see where he goes with it. Tyre wear though, probably up there with the best so far. Really conserving that left-hand side and right-hand side of the car for that matter, doing a great job. Dadson there in P8, just over half tank of fuel, so we should get a nice jump on Evil Evo when they both pit, if they were to pit at the same time. And tyre-wise, about the same, if not exactly the same I should say, as the car in front of Evil Evo. Right in behind him, Old Wacky, same fuel as Dadson in front, but tyre wear, he's definitely used more tyre. He's really, especially that front left tyre has copped a whacking so far. I suspect that he might fall off his pack in the next 5 to 6 laps, possibly maybe a bit less with the way that tyre is looking. CPJ50 in P10 currently with a half-second penalty unfortunately. Currently just up half tank of fuel, so fuel-wise he's in a good window, but tyre-wise, yeah, he's used a bit of that front and rear left, so he might start to fall back a bit from these cars in front as we go on in the race. Ricky Bobby there in P11, unfortunately after that spin there, down there, fuel-wise he's got still over half tank of fuel, so he's doing really nicely there. Possibly looking to try and jump the cars in front when they all go for their pit stops. Tyre-wise, he's used a bit on that rear left, but that could be due to the unfortunate spin of his earlier on, which would definitely overheat the tyre and cause it to wear much quicker. Stickers there in P12 currently, dead on half a tank of fuel, so probably at mid-pack, if not a bit down on like the average fuel amount for cars at this point in time in the race. And tyre-wise, a bit less than half worn on the left-hand side, and a bit more than half worn. My apologies, on the left-hand side, a bit less than half worn on the right. Heafy there in P13, currently just under half tank of fuel there, and his tyres, yeah, he's probably scratching the bottom thirds of that rear left and front left tyre for that matter, so his pace might start to drop off here pretty quickly in the next few laps. And Karen Unleash, as Karen Unleash is spun again at the Lesmos. Ooh, not a good day to be a Switchblade Sim Sports driver, unfortunately, but he's still rotating around the track, still persevering. Anything's possible in this race. It's only a 44-second gap to the leader and a 20-second gap to P13, so he should be able to make some time up. But currently, fuel-wise, he's looking pretty good as well. Still over half tank of fuel, but yeah, because of the spins, his tyres easily the worst on the grid. He's definitely going to be ready for a pit stop soon, I reckon.
Thank you for APR for the tyre and fuel update.
And as well as I say, Evil Evo comes into the pits on lap 11. I'm going to keep an eye on him. I reckon he is on for the 4-stop strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, or a minute stint, this could be maybe more, a 5 to 6 stop. Ooh. Everyone, get your thinking caps on.
Johnny's all over the back of Mountain Goat as well. He is pushing. He wants in front. He's like, nah, stuff that fuel. Someone's probably bet him $20 to get in front. $20 is $20, I'd say.
Well, personally, I don't think it's got to do with fuel. I think it's got to do with pace. Comparing last lap times there, Matt did a 48.3, John did a 47.6. He is, yeah, like, I think it's to do with fuel now. It's to do with pace. John's conserved the car and now he's ready to attack.
Well, that's a couple of different ways to look at it, isn't it? Like, you can either be, like, good on saving fuel and try and jump people in the pits that way, or just, you know, not have to put much more fuel in. Or you can just throw everything to the wind and say, no, I'm going to give this 2 hours everything I've got.
It definitely depends on where you are in the race. Right now for John, he's got two ways of looking at it. Really, I'd say for him right now, sort of stick behind Goat and just sort of letting him do the hard work, punching that hole in the air might be the best idea. But it means that he has to be faultless with the way he goes, because if he loses that slipstream at any point over the next 1.5 hours, I reckon Goat might see it as a chance to try and pull away so that John can't close that gap up with a free slipstream down the line as the race goes on. Now, like, I think it doesn't matter what Goat does. John's going to be there with that slipstream as long as he keeps it clean.
Yeah, and like you say too, if he loses that slipstream, any fuel advantage he's got, he would lose that while he's trying to catch back up.
Well and truly, absolutely. I think I'm going to be keen to see as well, just looking at how the cars are going, hypothetically, if they were to run sort of the 3-stop half-an-hour stints, it would mean that they would have excess fuel in the tank by the time they come in for their first stop. Now, the question is, does Man Goat or John or Foz, Niff, Lenosis, anyone else in the field, do they just put in the required amount of fuel to do the next stint, or do they brim the tank to try and shorten the next few stops?
Some of that will come down to also their tyre wear, I guess. If they're looking at it like, if they're burning through their tyre before they burn through a tank of fuel, are they going to then have to pit because of tyres, or are they going to have to pit because of fuel?
Yeah, look, it's very hard to tell, very close to call with that sort of information, but I'm sure we'll find out in approximately 8 minutes time for these guys. But I just want to point out a couple of people to keep an eye on here. We have 3 people who have already boxed for a fresh set of tyres and a bit more fuel. The leader of your stoppers, so to speak, is currently Evil Eva on P11. Stickers in P12 also stopped last lap just gone, and Heafy also did the same, currently in P14 just behind Karen.
Very interesting.
As Mountain goes the first to blink.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, alright. Oh, as Foz does too, and Niff does too. Ooh, John's going for the overcut. So is Lenosis and Young Wacky. Ooh, this is going to be key. Interesting to see what happens here. And here I was thinking there's only going to be a 4-stop strategy. Well, 3-stop. No, right the first time. I should have stuck to my guns. Well, now I'm keen to see what happens here. Yep, everyone's just put in the required amount of fuel. Foz, men go do that. Niff does that. Looks to be the gaps to the cars that just come out of the pits there in Mountain Goat, Foz and Niff are maintaining sort of similar to where they were. I think Goat's found a little bit of time for Foz. Niff there currently 1.1 seconds behind Foz, provisionally on the back of the podium, I'd say.
Well, that's interesting. I'm just going to stick with John. I want to see where this sort of comes out, whether he hits, and then if he hits, where he comes out in regards to Mountain Goat.
I'll keep an eye on Mountain Goat, see how clean his outlap is here. So far, his next car in front of him is 2.7 seconds up the road in CPJ 50, but the way his tyres are looking, unless he's going for that 3-stop strategy I was talking about before, I'd say he shouldn't be too far off coming in himself.
Do you have any sort of insight on Mountain Goat? Do you think he might have pitted for tyres, or he pitted for fuel?
It would have been tyres, definitely. He did put more fuel in the tank, but it definitely would be a tyre reason. Like you said, his fastest lap of the race so far, 146.9, and his last few laps there before he went to the pits were firmly into the 48s. So definitely, let's say I got 1 second sort of drop off there, which really isn't a lot. John's going around again. Oh, John, you saucy dog. Oh, he's cooking. Let him cook, ladies and gentlemen. He could be doing one less pit stop than the entire field here.
This Mountain Goat, he's just sitting in pace, and he's jumps in, so that puts him back to 7th. So, has Lenosis and Young Wacky, have they hit it at all?
They have not, no. Currently, the first car to a pit in the line of cars is Mountain Goat and P7. Everyone in front of them, yet to stop. So currently, right now, Goat doesn't want these cars in front to interrupt him, so really, he wants to go fast, but he doesn't want to get held up by Ricky Bobby, Dadson and Old Waker, who are still fighting for position here. Currently going for a longer first stint. I think what Mountain Goat is hoping for right now is that these 3 cars box the end of the next lap so he can just keep on going forward. Currently the gap is 2.2 seconds and it does appear to be sort of dropping bit by bit, especially through the corners, especially on that right hand corners as loading up the left side of the car. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Currently, look at that. The gap is now down to 1.6 seconds in the course of 2 corners there between Ricky Bobby and Mountain Goat.
Yeah, I'm sort of sticking with Mountain Goat a little bit. I just want to see what his first opening sort of lap is to see if he's just going to keep pushing it. And from that time that he's gaining, I know other guys are on putting in dead tyres. But look at that, yeah, he's down to like nearly half a second behind Ricky Bobby now.
Yep, cool. John's going around again. Ooh, yep. Oh, look, if John, he's got tyre for it, but his last lap there was a 149.2, so like it's not a good look. But hey, look, if he can, I guess, do a better job in the end of the next stint, because the car will be lighter when he does do his next stint, so the tyre shouldn't wear as badly. As Dadson there, first to blink, he goes into the pits there. Ricky Bobby, Mountain Goat side by side. No, Mountain Goat's got to go for a move here, because if he doesn't, he's going to lose too much time. Goes to the inside, deep under brakes. Oh, look at that. You get the fresh tyre versus the worn tyre. Look at the grip Mountain Goat's got. Wowee. So it does that. Mountain Goat to P5. Next car in front, Old Wakey in P4. I wouldn't be surprised if Old Wakey gets caught before the second Lesmo here.
I wonder if John thinks that if he can, he might have a bit of a plan too. That if he goes in, even though he's losing a little bit of time, he might go in and he might not take as much fuel for the next stint, and then put on a fresh set of tyres and maybe just come out and put in an absolute really fast but shorter stint maybe. So maybe sort of taking that little bit of a hit at the start, hoping that he can get on some really quick pace and get out past Mountain Goat.
That does sound on paper like a bloody good idea. Trying to sort of like do like essentially like a qualifying run to try and sort of like bridge a little gap in clean air, but right now with the pace John's showing, like I'd almost say it'd be safe for him just to do that bloody one less pit stop, just do half an hour stints. I wonder if he'll box this lap here or it'll be next lap.
Yeah, he's
in this lap. Okay, rightio then. So that was a 16 lap stint, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see.
As well. Yep.
Yes, he does. Wacky's in. Old Wakey is being hounded by Mountain Goat. Old Wakey's going around again.
Oh wow.
Ooh, yep. That's interesting there from Old Wakey, but rightio, look, if the plan works, the plan works.
I tell you what, Mountain Goat is like millimetres from that back end. Yeah, he's not going to want to fight with those old tyres coming into this chicane, that's for sure.
Right now, for blokes like Old Wakey, Ricky Bobby, people that have like sort of like not stopped yet, they're in a different race right now. If they fight those that have stopped, they're just costing themselves time. They're not going to help themselves at all. All they got to do is just sort of stick to their rhythm. If possible, try and use a slipstream those faster cars give them temporarily, try and pull them up the field a little bit. And then as they get to the end of the race and everyone cycles through their pit stops, hopefully they're in a good spot to try and then fight for their position.
Yeah, I do like the saying everyone has a plan till they get punched in the face, and I think racing's no different really because you can plan, you can practice and go, okay, this is my strategy, but you just don't know where you end up in qualifying. You might have a bad start and end up further back, and that's the thing with a lot of these guys is they don't have a pit crew that's sitting there saying, okay, pit this lap or do this strategy or fuel save. They've actually got to work all this out in their head on the fly while they're driving. So it's not as simple as, oh yeah, I'm just going to go as fast as I can around the track. It's, there's so much strategy and everything comes into it, and they've got to do it, like I say, on the fly.
Definitely do. It's you can't sort of plan ahead in racing. Like, you can sort of set yourself sort of guidelines as to what you want to do, but until you actually start racing, anything's possible. You sort of have to be good at improvising, have to be self-sufficient when you're racing here and be able to sort of adapt yourself to the conditions of the race as they happen. Old Wakey's in. Half an hour strategy. If he's not on the 3-stop, I'm not sure who is. Ricky Bobby also in, probably on the same strat. Look at the fuel save, 10 litre difference there. He won't jump Old Wakey, but he'll definitely close that gap significantly. But right now, what it has done though, John is currently 12.6 seconds behind the leader. Remember, they were my apologies, I'm trying to get the words out here. They were neck and neck essentially before Mountain Goat pitted. So Mountain Goat, in the course of approximately 5 laps, has put 12 seconds, nearly 13 on John. Which look, I'm sort of doing some. Yeah, he's purple. My God, no, good sir, calm down. Now look, what it has done for John is he's got fresh tyres now, so that gap should stabilise, maybe even start to come down a bit. But he's going to have to try and sort of really maintain that sort of gap, because I'm estimating that a pit stop for fuel and tyres here, at least like if like you're doing not a full tank but like a stint length tank, I reckon it's going to be about 25 to 30 seconds with tyres. Currently that gap is 12 seconds right now, and if it keeps blowing out like that, then Mountain Goat, with this more aggressive strategy, might be able to hold on and get the best of John.
Well, John's he's on his he's done his outlap and he's on his first full lap that's not pitted, and he's only 0.3 off his fastest lap coming over that checkpoint. So I think he's got the pedal down, to be honest. I think he's going to try and just like pump out some really quick fast lap times.
Absolutely he would, and I think really what he's hoping for as well personally, that's what I believe at least, currently a battle for P2 between BSR, Foz and Nif, currently heating up as Nif there doesn't go for a move, sort of settles into position there. I wonder if Nif is possibly playing the long game here, using that slipstream and just sort of saving a bit of fuel, letting Foz do the hard work, and Nif will just get past in the pits and carry on with his way.
Yeah, quite possibly. Although he's looking, I don't know, that could be just a little bit of GT7 could have a little bit of a skid in the slipstream, but he's looking pretty pacey on the back of him. But he could be just trying to save that fuel as well.
Yeah, which really, like, right now it is a 6 litre a second fuel drop here, which is a relatively fast rate in my opinion. But all you gotta do is, at least for Nif's sake, if he's just 2 litres up, that's enough to jump BSR Foz in the pits, no problem at all. And which you can easily find 2 litres of a second in the slipstream here.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, the slipstream, I've found with these BMWs. Personally, I seem to struggle even. Oh, and he's gone past. Foss, I don't know, Foss went a little bit wide there on that chicane.
Yeah, I've
just
missed
straight
that.
past.
There you go. And right now the gap is out to 1.5 seconds. So yeah, look, if Foz did make a mistake, it's a pretty costly one. He's firmly out of the slipstream now. I want to see what Foz's lap time here is coming across the start-finish line to see if it was a mistake or if it was just Nif showing that much pace.
I think he had a little bit of a mistake, to be honest.
He certainly did. 1 minute 49.8. Yeah, he's a major boo-boo somewhere.
I'll drop back through the field and see how a few of the other guys are up. Snickers 210 less than. Lenosis could be right on Snickers here.
Yeah, I think he's going for a move. He'll notice on fresher tyres. Down the inside. Easy as you like, no problem at all. Have a nice day.
Stickers has given him a bit of room as well. Stickers now could be under threat from Young Wakey, I'd say.
I think it's very much the case of, once again, different cars, different strategies here. I'm sure Stickers doesn't want to lose a position, but he knows that Lenosis and Young Wacky have both boxed after him. his tyres are going to be older and therefore slower. So it might not be worth him finding this one too hard and just sort of trying to find a rhythm rather than trying to fight it.
Young Wakey too. He's 3/10.
Holy!
He might
That's
be going
not
to lose
that
that though if he gets held up. If he can get past these guys, then he might be right. But I'd say he's getting held up pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I'd say at this point definitely he's getting held up. Evil Evo and Onosis almost going too wide into the second part of the Lesmos. Which, yeah, look, that section of track is barely 1 car wide in my opinion at speed. 2 car wide or Lesmo 2, like, nah, not going to happen, sir.
This is great though, 45 minutes in, and there's 4 cars on track, you know, going hammering Tom at it as well. So
oh, it's good to see.
Through the field a little bit more and see. Yeah, see, look at this. There's Heafy, or Heafy's got a penalty. I think he's just serving that now. CBJ50, he's going to jump him, and then Datson's right on the back of that as well. So there's another battle of 3 sitting towards the back. Got back down to Wakey. He's sort of got about 2.5 to 3. He's got 3 seconds up to Datsun, 2.5 seconds back to Ricky Bobby. And Aaron Unleashed, who could be, like you say, could be on a completely different strategy.
Yeah, I think, look, he's definitely on a different strategy in my opinion. Those unfortunate spins at second Lesmo, I think it was the Ascari chicane earlier on, have well and truly hindered his progress. But look, I reckon he's on for the strategy with the least amount of pit stops possible, which is very risky for a Switchblade/Deeds driver because managing fuel has notoriously been a problem for that team there. So I hope they brought in the best mathematicians for this race here at Monza if that is the case.
Yeah, I'm just wondering too whether a lot of these guys have probably dropped a little bit of downforce because there's such long straights on this track with only those sort of 3 chicanes and breaking it up. So a little bit less downforce to make them a little bit, slip through there that little bit better, a little bit more fuel efficient, a little bit quicker in the straights, and but then you're going to sort of pay for it a little bit through those chicanes. Although the chicanes aren't super high speed, there still is that, like that last turn onto the front straight, it's still a pretty high speed turn. Could affect you as well.
You're absolutely right there, I couldn't agree anymore. I think personally, like, I'm not an expert with the tuning aspect on this particular platform, or any platform for that matter, but I'd say nearly with the setups these boys are running here, I'd almost run a lower downforce setup, almost no downforce to an extent setup for qualifying, but then I'd chuck a bit of it back on the car for the race. Sure, you'll sacrifice a little bit of your straight line speed, absolutely, but it will give you a bit more sort of security in that you a bit more confidence in the car. It's not going to lose traction, it's not going to understeer, not going to oversteer, and from memory as well, I believe adding a bit of downforce to the car does sort of reduce the tyre wear a little bit because you're not turning the wheels hard to get to go into a corner.
Yeah, that's probably right, like especially in some of the chicanes and the high speed corners, if you got that downforce and the car's not sliding, you'd think you'd get that a little bit less tyre wear. But I'm the same, I'm pretty new to the whole tuning game as well, so yeah, I would like to hazard a guess of who's done what. And it's like everything, what you gain in some area, you're going to lose in another. I know on the last track where I was at Bathurst, I found with a decent bit of downforce over the top of the mountain, you could be very quick, but then you'd lose that on that Conrod straight. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what some of these guys are running as far as downforce, ride height, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd be keen to see as well, but just sort of I'm sort of keeping an eye here on the gaps between your top 4 cars here. Your first, second, third are on the exact same strategy for the most part. It's John and P4 is sort of like your big sort of outlier. Still hasn't beaten Mountain Goat's fastest lap of the race. However, he is going generally about 1.5 to 2 tenths quicker on average per lap at this point in time as Evil Evo comes to the pit, so does Stickers.
Yeah, I was just watching John myself as well. He just did a flat one. The last few laps have been a flat 1:47. He was purple on lap 22 as well at one stage. So he's, there's nothing in it. He's just pumping out some fast laps, but he's still got a big gap there. Mountain Goat's out the front, just pulling a bit of time.
Yeah, I just want to say as well, the three cars in front there on the exact same strategy, they're all currently running just under about a quarter of a tank, give or take. John, however, he's got over half. So while that gap is 13 seconds, the fuel advantage he's got right now, that'll probably shrink down by at least 4 or 5, I reckon, minimum.
Yeah. Do you think he took a bit more fuel?
I reckon he did.
He might have came out with he might have come out with similar fuel and he'd done more laps. So yeah, he might have taken that little bit of a hit at the start.
I personally reckon he's put more fuel in general to try and sort of like extend the stint, or to extend the stint no matter what, but also to possibly shorten the length of that second pit stop there, and possibly the third, depending how he goes, to try and sort of like ensure that he lands in like clean air for each of his stints. Because while slipstream would be nice, right now for John, I think just having the clear air and just sending banker laps back to back is what he wants more of right now.
Tell you what, BSR Frost too, he's quickly catching up to Nif. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know whether Nif's lost a little bit of tyre or whether BSR Frost just decided to put the foot down. But I know he's pulled about 3/4 of a second on him just now.
I think there's definitely possibly a little bit of column B, but definitely column A. Nif being one of our 2 known controller users. If there is any more, chuck yourselves in the chat there, because I could not recall anyone else being a controller user. But yeah, Nif unfortunately on controller, his tyres have definitely seen better days, comparatively speaking to Foz. I'd say like right now, like the lap times don't lie. Nif down the last lap did 1:48 dead, Foz did 1:47.7. Like that's 0.3 of a second over one lap, and that's been pretty consistent over the past few laps. So really, I think Nif unfortunately might start playing a bit of a defensive game towards the end of these stints here to try and sort of maintain position, because yeah, his tyre wear unfortunately is definitely worse off compared to the cars around him.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the disadvantages with the controller with the tyre wear. I heard the update that it did help them a little bit. But yeah, it's still harder to keep those tyres a bit fresher than everyone else.
Yeah, I'll let the controller users confirm or deny that statement of the update making it better. I could have sworn I heard that it definitely did get improved, but to what extent, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head, unfortunately.
No.
But right now, Nif though is still doing a good job. He's actually put a bit of time on Foz that lap, so found a little bit extra there that lap, which is not bad from him. Still 1.5 second gap to Foz in P3 there. But someone that's closing in, John there, currently 3.3 seconds to BSR Foz. The gap to Mountain Goat, while that's been pretty stable, the gap between him, John, and Foz and Nif has definitely been closing down. So I'd say right now with the strategy John's on, he should get the best of Foz and Nif, provided he keeps it clean. Mountain Goat, put a little asterisk next to that one, because with the pace that Mountain Goat's showing, he could very well do the extra stop and still come out on top here.
John is slowly pulling a little bit, like it's only maybe a couple of tenths a lap, maybe a little bit more, but he has brought it down a bit. I think it was around about 14 seconds, and he's now under 13 seconds.
It certainly will. I think when John came out of the pits, it was around the 12, and then just because of John's cold tyres and Mountain Goat's warm ones, they did stretch out to the mid to high 13s. Definitely has come down, like you said, to the sort of mid to high 12s. And I just want to say as well, that gap will probably come down a fair bit more in a second, because your top 3 cars, they're all pretty well on the fuel light, if not are on the fuel light. So expect them to come in the next 1 or 2 laps, I reckon.
Yeah, right. And what are we? Still an hour and a quarter to go.
Yep. And for reference as well, John's still got just under half a tank of fuel, while the other guy's on the fuel light, so he's got a nice advantage here.
Yeah, he might be a little bit behind, but yeah. massive amount of fuel.
I'd say with the strategy that John's running right now, Foz and Nif, not in the game. They're out of it at this point in time. It's just Goaty. That fuel save, or not fuel save, but that extra fuel he's taken on in that first stop has helped him massively.
Yeah. So we're 45 minutes in. We've still got Old Wakey and Datsun within half a second of each other.
The World Championship battle for P8.
Yeah. It's the thing though, get yourself into that top 10, even if it's it depends where you are on that leaderboard. If you're not great at enduros and it's not one of your favourite tracks at Monza, but if you can still get, the more points you can get, if you can still put in a top 10, at the end of the day, it's going to help you. The tracks that you may do better at, if that makes any sense at all.
It definitely does in my opinion, and right now all the guys are showing good pace. For reference there, CPJ 50 in P7 just at the purple first sector there. So even the cars that are towards the middle and the back of the pack, they aren't messing about. They've got the ability to start attacking that fastest lap time there, but they're just sort of all got their own rhythms, they've got their own plans, their own strategies in mind. They're going to stick to that because they know, or at least they think they know, it works.
Yeah, exactly. And even if they are, someone is 10, 15 seconds behind someone, you never know, that person in front might have a spin or, a bit of an issue.
Okay.
They might have it coming together with another car.
Sorry to interrupt you, mate, unfortunately, but your top 3 cars are in the pits.
Well.
Alright, Mountain Goat first to blink there. John goes past them. He's going to have a lot of clean air here. He's going to be just minding his own for the next at least 6 to 7 laps here, I reckon, with the fuel he's got. Mountain Goat filling up to 69%. Nice.
But did John just pit?
No, John kept going. He's got the fuel to keep going. He's gone for a long time, brother. The cars that pit just then were Mountain Goat, Nif, Foz, and CPJ. CPJ going in, he's in lap. He went purple in the first sector. That's phenomenal there from CPJ. Heafy also doing the same in P11, coming to the box there with 4 litres of fuel, so he's laying that fuel perfectly.
Yeah, track this long, it's not a track you want to run out of fuel on, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. But looking back to the front now, John, after not stopping, or Mountain Goat, I should say, after stopping, currently 15 seconds between Mountain Goat and the leader, with a car in between them of luscious Lenosis there in P2, 3.2 seconds ahead of Mountain Goat, 12.4 behind John. So, let me just a math here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Before John pit, he was about 12.5 seconds behind Mountain Goat. After Mountain Goat's pit, the gap is now 15 seconds in favour of John. I could be wrong, but that's about 28 second pit loss there. That's a lot of time to make up there for Mountain Goat. He's going to have to really put the hammer down if he wants to try and sort of catch back up to John, I reckon.
Yeah, like there is. John still has to pit. So he's still only pitted once, so he still has to do that second pit. So he's going to lose that 20 odd seconds time back. But in saying that, if he's extending these out, even if he loses that bit of time, he could come into his third pit stop and might only have to put in like a splash of fuel or a lot less fuel, and he's going to have fresher tyres. So
I'd nearly go as far as saying right now at this point in time, John and Mountain Goat have the same amount of pit stops to go. The only difference is John's going to have a bit more fuel going in, Mountain Goats have less, and John's also just under 13 seconds up the road.
Yeah, and he's just going purple again. It could be the wind, but it seems quite a few of them are going purple on the first sector as well.
Yeah, it could be definitely wind direction changing, possibly to give him more of an advantage there going into that. As Mountain Goat, 2/10 purple. That's the biggest purple margin I've seen in a little while, so maybe, just maybe, he might be challenging that fastest lap. And right now, he might be able to catch up to Lenosis going up to this last straight here at Monza and get a nice little tug to finish off his lap with. Currently at 1.6 seconds and closing Mountain Goat to Lenosis there.
back down the field, we've still got Datsun and Ricky Bobby sitting close. So Wakey seems to have stretched out a little bit. He's got a 1.7 second lead. Run back through the field a little bit, give these other guys a bit of, see what they're up to.
Give him some screen time.
So he's got about a 14-second gap up to Ricky Bobby. A couple of seconds behind his Snickers. CPJ is just behind. He's got a fair gap, 6 seconds. And 7 seconds back to Heafy. So all of these last guys are just and I put the mocker on Heafy. He's now got a 1 second penalty. But yeah, we just don't know too. We don't know the strategies with some of these guys and what they're up to. So sometimes it looks like a person could be quite a way down, and it comes towards the end of the race and they jump 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Like right now, like I think strategy-wise, CPJ is on the more, I guess, conservative strat. Heafy, I think I just heard from Womble down the pit lane, is on a more aggressive one. Just unfortunately had a few incidents at the start of the race there, or just the one lap 1 there, which unfortunately put him back. But yeah, I think from memory, Heafy is probably doing roughly the same amount of pit stops as sort of like your likes of Mountain Goat, Foz, Nif, I believe. But we'll wait and see how that plays out for him. He's got the clear air to just set purple laps in my opinion, if he can put the car together. But we'll wait and see how he goes.
Yeah, also Wakey sitting up in 4th place as well, 5 seconds behind Lenosis. So Lenosis as well, is he only pitted the once?
Correct, yep. Lenosis only pitted the once. Currently, your lead car that has pit twice so far is Mountain Goat, 12.6 seconds behind John. Lenosis and Wacky, they've probably got another 2 or 3 laps in, and maybe 4 if they're lucky, before they box again. Nif also freshly boxed as well.
Yeah, there's going to be something for John to look at as well, because once John pits, like if he doesn't want to get caught up in traffic either. He's going to come out of the pits with fresh tyres, and if these guys are doing even slightly longer stints than himself and he comes out behind any of these guys, he could get slowed down a bit as well.
It's going to be challenging to see. Well, we're looking at approximately, let's just say, roughly a 30 seconds sort of pit stop here for John when he does decide to pit, which currently will place him right in the middle of that battle for P8, P9 between Dadson and Ricky Bobby, if not just behind it. Yeah, if he's lucky, well, that's not really lucky, I guess more unlucky. There's a nice little pocket of air between Ricky Bobby and Evil Evo, P9 and 10 respectively, which you can slot into to try and do some laps there, but you wouldn't really want to go slower to go faster for John. Like, I don't think he believes in that sort of methodology. Right now, I think what John wants to do, preferably, is to try and edge out that gap a little bit further, because there's a nice little small but nice little pocket of air between BSR Foz and Old Wacky in P6 and 7. BSR Foz having freshly pit, he won't be an issue for a fair while for John pace-wise. Old Wacky shouldn't be too far off pitting. So right now, if John can aim to get himself in that gap when he comes out of the pits, when he goes through a pit stop, that will be just marvellous for him.
Yeah. So, I tell you what though, for Mountain Goat to be, he's only just over 11 seconds behind John, but he has one more pit stop up his sleeve. And he's in front of Lenosis too, who's currently running 3rd, but has only done the 1 pit stop.
Yeah, I'd say right at this point in time, the battle for P1 and P2, right now, firmly between John and Mountain Goat. There is no doubt in my mind that's who's fighting for the win. The rest of the podium though, it's a bit up in the air, because the Lenosis and Wacky going for the more conservative strat, and then behind them you've got Nif and Foz doing the aggressive one, and they will more likely just converge as we get close to the end of the race here. So the battle for P3 is going to be a cracker, I reckon. But, yeah, P1, P2, right now with the pace they're showing, is between John and Mountain Goat.
I tell you what though, Lenosis, he's running 3rd, he's 14 seconds behind John. But 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 John hasn't pitted the second time either. So, if he saves enough fuel, or runs a bit longer stint as well, he could very well come into play towards the end of this race.
It's a very real possibility for Lenosis there. It is, in my opinion, going to require the absolute perfect slipstream, or just some clean air where he can just set his own lap times on his own and just sort of essentially go brain dead, for lack of better terminology. But yeah, Lenosis can play himself back into the game here. He has got to work a bit hard for it, I reckon, but he's definitely not all the way out of it. It's going to be hard to make up a 14-second gap to John, who's on the same strategy as him.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got a good lead over young Wacky as well, so he's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
pretty sure he'd be damn happy with a podium, especially with double points coming up for this race.
Oh mate, I think top 5 for all these drivers here they'd be happy with. I think Wacky could be due for a pit stop this lap. No, he won't. He's on the fuel light, so it'll be next lap for young Wacky. He'll be pitting as he gets overtaken by Niff on his fresher tyres there. I wonder if Wacky will fight this one to try and sort of gain a bit of time back, or if he'll just sort of concede defeat and look to fight another day. He does. I'm sure he'll make use of that slipstream there to try and extend that gap to BSR Foz behind him and possibly catch up to Lenosis, who's really the closest car he's racing currently.
Yeah, that's, like I say, that's the thing. Everyone's going to have these different strategies. It's really going to be hard to say probably till we get to the last stint, I'd say, once everyone's pitted for the last time. And then we'll start to see how things roll out a bit.
I'd say roughly about an hour and 40-minute mark into the race. Usually by that point, everyone should be almost or all done with their pit stops, and then we will find out who's where and with what car beneath them.
Because we haven't quite hit the hour mark, so interesting to see how these guys are feeling too. It's 2 hours. It's a pretty long race, and we're at the hour mark. And I know early on there was a few instances, people are getting a few penalties and stuff, but for being into the hour mark, people seem to be pretty fresh, and it's going to pop back up to John.
Yep, who's coming to the pits, is he? Yep, good call.
Yeah. So let's go back to Mount and see what sort of a gap he has once he's passed.
It's going to be significant there. Yeah. When Mountain Goat came out of the pits, we said before he had about a 15-second gap to catch up to John, and when John pitted, it was down to 7. Mountain Goat was flying out there. Wacky's also in this lap. Lenosis goes around again.
John, 81 litres.
Let's just see. He brings out behind old Wakey. I think he was hoping to be in front of him here, so we have a nice bit of clean air between old Wakey and Foz.
Yeah.
But old
Wakey going for tyres and stuff?
I'd say 1 to 2 laps time, old Wakey will be in, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue for John. But yeah, still.
But it's the same thing though, like all the same car, depending on how much downforce you have. Even if you're in that slipstream, if it's not always, it's pretty hard still to get a run on someone, even in these long straights.
Oh, absolutely, and like you were saying before, with the tuning aspect of people running sort of different setups, you can be in the slipstream of a car with like minimal to no downforce, and sure you have the slipstream, but because they're naturally more slimlined or streamlined, I should say, they're going to sort of still either maintain that gap or pull away from you on the straights. And then when you get to a corner, yeah, sure they'll be slower, but how you want to get past them in a corner?
Yeah, exactly. Especially on these chicanes, there's pretty much room for one car and one car only. So unless you can get a really good run coming out of that chicane on someone, if you've got that, if the car in front's got that little bit less downforce, it's really hard. He's going to have a go though.
Yep, as Lenosis comes into the pits here.
2% fuel left.
Yep. John gets the best of Old Wakey. Old Wakey's going around again, so he'll be in the end of this lap, Old Wakey then, because his tyres and fuel, well, they're looking pretty dire currently.
So John is now 22 seconds behind Mountain Goat. So yeah, he's lost a significant amount of time again.
He definitely has there, unfortunately for John. But one thing I do...
seconds on the, I think 14 seconds on the first hit. Sorry for cutting you off. I think he lost 14 seconds on his first hit. And so now he's lost like another 8 seconds.
Yeah, I think John, he shouldn't get distracted by that sort of time intermediate there, because yeah, sure, it does at the sort of like the end and the start of each thing, it does sort of go out a bit in a way he doesn't want it to. But as he gets to like sort of like the early mid part to the mid part of his own stints, by that point his tyres are in a good spot and he's setting good laps, and Mountain Goats, they're sort of on the way out. So that gap will slowly start to come down a bit, and you'll see that, get motivated and go faster because of it.
Like I say, until we get towards that sort of, maybe even the last quarter of the race, last half an hour, once they've done that last pit stop, it's probably going to be a bit of a sprint to the finish line, and I think we'll start to see where most people will start to sit minus any incidences.
Yes, and notice there's a question there from Laminator in the chat there. To answer that, mate, it's a bit of column A, a bit of column B. Just keeping an eye though, I'm sort of monitoring that gap between John and Mount Goat, but also the gap between John and Forrest, because right now, as Old Wakey comes to the pits with 1 litre of fuel, wow, he's playing that really well. Ricky Bobby's also in too with 9 litres of fuel, should get a nice little jump there on Old Wakey, try and shrink that gap a little bit. Evil Evo's in with nothing in the tank. Poor, that's cutting it fine. CPJ sneaks through into P6, it will be effectively for the time being. Lovely job there from CPJ. Young Wacky there in P7. Gets ahead of his old man. Yeah, there's a lot of strategies here to sort of like play out. It's hard to tell where everyone's at. Look, we've got a few nice little battle packs here. Yeah, but really like... nothing's really solid, as I noticed there Foz at the exit of the... was it Foz, sorry? Oh, the Foz or John. Exit of the first Lesmo went very wide into the AstroTurf. Got a little bit sideways and managed to save it.
Just looking too, the notices, I think, dropped maybe 3 or 4 seconds off John as well after they've both pitted. But that could be he might have just taken more fuel for this stint.
I'd say it's a combination of both that and John doing the undercut. That extra sort of like, well, extra lap earlier would give him a bit of time, because the lap time comparison between an old and new set of tyres usually about 1.5 to 2 seconds difference, which is a lot really. Like, yeah, that's a lot of time.
Just running back towards the back of the field. Old Wakey at 10. It's he's done it 2 seconds behind Heafy, and then he's got a 3.5 lead over Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. That gap to Heafy should come down pretty quickly, because Heafy's about to serve a half-second penalty here. I'll keep an eye on it. Penalty serve, Old Wakey's gap, 1.6, 1.4, 3, 2, 1. Under a second. He won't be close enough for a move into the last corner. However, he's going to be in a slipstream range and the run down the T1. If Old Wakey can get a nice run on his fresh tyres on Heafy here, I'll be able to launch an attack going into the first chicane.
Yeah, that 1 second penalty, half a second penalty just cost him well over a second. Well, Heafy's right on him. Old Wakey's right on Heafy, I should say. Yeah,
Old Wakey's not messing about here. Moves to the inside. Heafy doesn't want to fight it, breaks earlier, and they both continue on with their day. Old Wakey with the fresh tyres. Heafy would have really been disadvantaged trying to fight that one, because he's probably about halfway through his stint currently, judging by his tyre wear. So that's alright. Old Wakey to P9, 3.2 seconds to Dadson in front of him. He's got to put the hammer down now.
Just looking at Dadson, he's doing quite well. He's 8th on the grid. He's got a bit over 3 seconds on Old Wakey. He's just under 10 seconds behind Young Wakey. But I reckon he's looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, it's on paper and like just the way things are now, it looks good. But yeah, like it's hard to make a call currently, only just over halfway into the race here, as to where exactly everyone is lying in regards to their overall pace and position. Yeah.
Yeah, we almost need a computer graph that sort of puts everyone in and puts in their fuel, their tyres, and we need an AI to come to GT7 a bit better, I think.
I think we need like our own version of the old Hino Hub, hosted by old Mark Larkham, to try and sort of run us through the sort of various pace differentials between all the cars. That'd be marvelous, I reckon.
Yeah. No, that's for some lot smarter people that need to be working out.
Currently, though, looking at the sort of the battle for the lead in the podium currently, as for Nif has got a half-second penalty, but he's got plenty of space between himself and Foz, so he's not under any real threat to lose a position currently. But the gap between John and BSR has come down by about, 1 to 1.5 seconds in the past couple laps there. And the gap between Mountain Goat and John has gone below 21 seconds there. It was roughly, 22, 23, just after John boxed.
Wow, he's really putting in some time.
For reference here, last lap around, or last 3 laps, Goat's been sitting in that like sort of probably the mid 47s average lap time. John, he's been doing below 47s, if not high 46s, the last 3 laps he's done since coming out of the pit lane. So, yeah, John is flying, ladies and gentlemen.
I tell you what, Karen has made up. He's down to 10 seconds. He's 10 seconds behind Stickers, but I am sure he was 20-something seconds behind him.
I think he was. By the looks of it, Stickers has recently pit. He would have pit sort of a lap or 2 ago. Maybe lap 3, I should say. But yeah, Karen, by the looks of it, he'll be due for a pit stop in the next 4 to 5 laps. But yeah, I think his strategy right now, Karen, to try and do 1 to 2 less pit stops and the cars will random. So at this point in time, he's definitely not out of the fight for P13 with Stickers, I reckon.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like I say, it's we're not going to know until later on. And then people are going to pick strategies also on what suits their driving style. If you look at, say, Mountain Goat John, that I'm not saying that. Ooh, just looking at Goat.
Yep, I saw that too. Yep, that was a sketchy move.
Yeah, it's a change of pair of underpants move, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's like some of these guys, like, not saying they're not. Obviously, they're great on strategy still, but some guys are better going balls out, for a better word, and not worrying too much about fuel. Whereas some people may not quite have that pace; they might be a little bit off that pace, so they go for that little bit different strategy where they're looking to save a bit of fuel and hopefully jump people in the pits, or when it comes to the end, maybe even that 1 less pit stop. Like you say though, with the amount of laps that these guys are going to do, we're down to the 50-minute mark, but we're at lap 38, so we're going to be doing at least 60-something laps.
I think the magic number I heard earlier on today was around the 66, 67 mark from memory.
Yeah. And if you're on average a second a lap slower, even if you save like 1 whole pit stop, you're still 30-something seconds behind. So,
yeah. Look, the drivers here, I'm sure they know what they're doing. I'm sure Karen, if he didn't have a few incidents earlier on, he right now would probably be sitting ahead of Evil Evo and Stickers for that matter on the strategy he's on. But yeah, a few minor incidents that have just unfortunately put him sort of towards the back of the pack. But he's still circulating around, still getting good points for both himself and the team, which that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, exactly. And some people you might look at the track map of this, people at home, people that aren't maybe racing the GT7, they might be having a look at it and going, this is a pretty simple track. You've got only a few corners and a few chicanes, but to do it lap after lap after lap and try and get those consistent lap times, extremely hard. And then these chicanes, they're tricky. A little bit too much curve, a little bit too wide, as those tyres wear especially, or when you've got cold tyres. Only takes that briefest of moment and bang, it's so easy to lose 10, 15 seconds after they get yourself straightened back up again.
Well and truly is, but I just want to point your attention to the top 3 cars, because I reckon they're all going to be boxing this lap on the next year. Let's see what Mountain Goat does. Mountain Goat's in, alright. Pit stop number 3, I believe it is, for Mountain Goat there. Niff 12.
In the front straight.
Certainly is. Niff is in too. Foz, surely following his teammate, is also in. So John retakes the lead of the race for the time being. So the gap was around 19 seconds dead by the time Mountain Goat into the pits there. Let's see what it's like now between John and Mountain Goat when Mountain Goat comes out here. Mountain Goat's on the way out of the pits. Puts in 67 litres this time. Okay, alright. So the gap is roughly about 10 seconds in favour of John now. Okay. Now, what that does mean, because at the end of the last sort of like a pit stop transition, for lack of better terminology, it's roughly like about 12 seconds in favour of John. Now it's 9. So Mountain Goat's found 3 seconds, give or take, on the strategy he's on now.
Did you just say he took only 57 litres though?
67, my apologies.
67. That's not a lot of fuel, but he must know that's enough to get him to his next stop, and then he's got that. And then he's gone.
I think last time around he took 69, so he must have sort of tested the waters with 69, had a little bit extra and thought, you know what, that 0.2 of a second I'll save putting 2 less litres in the car, I can do that. So
how much fuel has John got? Can you let us know?
John, currently he's got just under half a tank. Mountain Goat, like I said, probably got maybe 64, 63 now after doing that first part of the lap there, so...
Do you think John could be trying to stretch this out a little bit so that his next pit stop he could fuel right up and go to the end?
No, I think that would be a terrible idea based on tyre wear. Yeah, like if John wanted to, he absolutely could. He could, but yeah, the loss of time through tyre wear wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how far he can stretch this stint out, because that first time he did it, how many laps? Can you remember roughly how many laps he did? 16 was the match number he did for the first stint, and I believe it was about 16 to 17 for that second stint.
So I'd say roughly the way he's going right now, after boxing on lap, 32, I think it is, coming out in the end of lap, coming out start lap 33, that'll place him around the lap 50 mark. We'll see him in the pit lane again.
Yeah, and then if you're saying that 64 laps, that'd only leave him 14 laps to the end.
Oh, I'm saying about 66, so that'll leave him 16.
16 laps, so he could possibly go from here for one more pit stop compared to Mountain Goat's 2. I'm not saying it's a great idea, but it's a possibility.
Well, right now, John's actually extended that gap ever so slowly on Mountain Goat since Mountain Goat has gone to the pit. So really, pace-wise, John is still in a good spot. He unfortunately hasn't got the fastest lap of the race, which was taken by Wacky at some point and missed completely with a 146.8, which is disgusting. John's going to have one more pit stop to go, and then he should be done. Mountain Goat's got one more pit stop to go, and then he'll be done. Yeah, it's going to come to a head here, because Mountain Goat's last pit stop is going to be significantly shorter than what John's is, unless John pulls off one of the most amazing fuel saves I've ever seen, but I don't think it's possible for him right now. John's going to get the undercut. Tyre-wise, currently for him, he's got about halfway on the left side of the car and about 1/3 of the way gone on the right side, so about the same as what we've been doing for the whole race just gone. But yeah, currently it's looking like John and Mountain Goat, on the trajectories they're on, they should come together sort of like pretty well at the same time when Mountain Goat does his final stop. I reckon they're going to come out just right behind each other.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very
We'll have to wait and see,
I
though.
haven't got anything else to say. There's yeah, I was just looking also at fastest lap time for young Wacky, a 1:46.8 in the race.
That's, yeah, look. But yeah, kid, you're fast, good sir, but please calm down. Let's put some ballast in your car for the next race, because that's just disgusting.
Yeah. I think all these D1 guys are disgusting in their pace, to be honest.
That's fair. That's very fair. But I haven't really talked about it myself as well too much as of late. But while we've got that battle for like that sort of P1, P2 slot between John and Mountain Goat, we've got a pretty similar one going on right now between Lenosis, Niff, and BSR Foz. I think with Niff and Foz currently on a similar strat to what Mountain Goat's doing, while Lenosis is following in the wise ways of Sober John. But the gap there is definitely significantly less. Currently, it's about 7 seconds between Lenosis and Foz there. But it's going to be hard for Lenosis to try and sort of like extend that gap out to do what John's doing to Mountain Goat here. But yeah, look, all of them three cars, I should say, have only got one pit stop to go. The way things are looking, I reckon. But I think Niff and Foz, at the pace they've been showing, they should be able to get the best of Lenosis. But yeah, it's going to be close to call with that one too.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle for the third spot on the podium, I think.
I very much think so. I think right now, I'd say, yeah, sort of top 5 positions aren't exactly locked in at this point in time, I'd say.
I tell you what, though, young Wacky and old Wacky, they are behind a little bit, but like we say, we don't know fuel stop strategies as well. Like if someone can save a bit, etc. I've seen it myself where people have come into the pits and bang, they save 3 or 4 seconds just in a pit stop.
Yeah, strategy-wise, young Wacky is currently running the same one as Lenosis, but I think young Wacky's had a moment somewhere, because in the middle of his lap, he's done a 1:55.9, and that was not through a pit stop, so he's just had a major off there somewhere. We completely missed that, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. So yeah, right now, if he didn't have that spin, he would be probably sort of in that battle pack with Niff and Foz, I reckon.
But he was further back earlier, wasn't he? So he's made his way up.
Yeah, he's after having like a pretty sort of Lando Norris-y start, for lack of better terminology, he's definitely he fought his way back up to where he sort of like started the race. But yeah, just he's had a moment somewhere and he's lost all that time again. And right now, he's very much in no man's land, sitting in P6 there with 8.2 seconds to Foz and then 6.4 to old Wakey. Like yeah, I think Wacky right now, he's going to need, in my opinion, a bit of a miracle to try and gain 8 spots from here. But we'll see what happens. If the cars in front start fighting pretty hard, he'll be back in the game in no time.
Yeah, there's not much between old Wacky and Datsun either. It's only a couple of seconds. I tell you what, and Ricky Bobby, just jumped. He must have had a penalty. He was under a second, I think, and then all of a sudden the times jumped out to well over 2 seconds. I must have just missed him going through the penalty by the look of it.
Yeah, I've missed that too. But yeah, nice little battle pack there for P7, 8, 9 there. Or 8, 9, 10 is it? Oh, 7, 8, 9, my apologies, how I wrote the first time. In which strategy-wise, they're not on the same strategy, but they're definitely pretty similar. And I think right now, Ricky Bobby's got a little bit of a fuel advantage over Dadson, but then old Wacky's got a fuel advantage over the two of them. So I'd say at this point in time, Dadson may fall back into the clutches of Ricky Bobby when they serve their next and possibly final pit stop, but it's going to be tough to call that one too.
Also, Seekers has got Evo right over the back of him as well. Just under a second separates those two guys. Evo is trying to hunt down Stickers by the look of it, and for that elusive top 10.
Yeah, I think right now Evo has got the car to do so. He must be on a bit of an overcut strategy here, for lack of better terminology. Currently, he's finding time hands over fist there. Lap time comparison, only found a 10th in the last lap, and he did in fact lost time on the lap before. But yeah, I think Evil Evo actually might have been in front of Stickers at one point, because Evil Evo's done a 153 lap time there on lap 41, which that's 5 seconds off the pace, so I think Stickers must have been behind Evil Evo at some point, but yeah, it must be a little error there from the Doghouse driver.
I'm pretty sure Stickers was running back in come off of 13th. So he's done something to put himself up into the top 10.
He's done a very good job there.
Maybe I've just missed though, maybe because maybe someone might have pitted that hadn't pitted before when Stickers was back in like 12 or 13.
Yeah. I think possibly Heafy could be one of those people who's currently on lap 42 due to 2 minute 21 second lap time, which is roughly what you expect the pit stop to be. Evil Evo comes to them. It's a very weird, okay? Coming to the pits at this point in time, he's too early in my opinion to go to the end of the race, but it's too soon to maximise a two-stop strategy. But okay, interesting call there from the Doghouse driver. Maybe the pit crew, Stranger and all the boys there, maybe they've got an idea what to do here, but yeah, keen to see what happens for...
Mountain Goat has cracked out a 46.7.
Yep, and he's brought that gap down to John to 6.4 seconds. Oh, yeah, look, I think the best thing John can do right now is stay in front of Goat before he goes for his next pit stop, which thankfully is roughly 4 laps time approximately, give or take. Yeah, for reference there, we'll see what Mountain Goat come across the line, did a 47.2 that last time around. John did a 48.6. There was Karen Unleashed.
Yeah, maybe. Was it?
Yeah, Karen Unleashed letting Mountain go through on the front straight there. I hope that's what you saw. Yep. Okay, don't freak out, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't lost John. He's still there. He's still circulating.
I was sort of looking between the 3 different screens and stuff, and I was just like, is that John moving out the way?
Not too sure. Hang on. Lenosis had a major error somewhere. Niff and Lenosis are right on top of each other here. Niff looking for an inside move into the second chicane. Goes deep under brakes. No, Lenosis goes deeper. Lenosis keeps in position for now, but right now, I'd say it's a matter of time. Niff there gets the inside line for the first Lesmo. Can Lenosis hold the outside here? It's going to be close. He tries. He's still got the outside line, but I think it's very much losing battle for Lenosis. Yep. Gives it in. He's on worse tyres here. Niff's on much fresher tyres. Gives it in. Lives to find another day here. And now he's got a slipstream of trying to sort of pull himself along and try and sort of get a little advantage here over both Niff when he goes for his next pit stop and Foz.
I keep going to mention it and then I forget that it's the time of day at the moment. It's looking, it has quite a while. It looks like it's coming into night. The guys have got their lights on, but it's not actually night time.
I could be wrong here, but I think the great people at Polyphony Digital has set up a game where only some tracks have like a 24-hour night cycle, and I could be wrong. People in the chat, if I am wrong, please correct me. But I don't think that Monza has a night time, according to the guys at Polyphony.
So it's just because for the last hour or something, it looks like it's been dusk.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the case of it just looking like dusk for the next little while, and all of a sudden it'll be the morning again, I think. But yeah, right now though, Foz goes wide at the first chicane there. Keeps on the track, but lost a good bit of time in that little process. I reckon he lost about 2 seconds with that little error there from him. Ooh, very unfortunate. Dadson's in. Look, Dadson hypothetically could go to the end of the race from here, but God, it would be a hairy last few laps. See how much fuel he puts in.
Stickers is now back to 13. Whereas,
yes, Stickers just boxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's on fresh tyres here. Heafy's also recently boxed. Evil Evo has also recently boxed. Oh, but he boxed the last lap before. Dadson's out here in P10 now with 16 seconds for CPJ in front of him. CPJ's got one more pit stop in him, I reckon, which will probably be happening in, 15 to 20 minutes, I reckon.
Wow,
Ricky
Mountain
Bobby
Goat's
there.
down to 3.5 seconds behind John.
Oh, God, he is not messing about, this kid. The junior cyborg, he's locked and loaded here.
He's putting in some impressive lap times. Quite a few 46s, like even from lap 44 he's a 46, 47, 48's a 46. He's pumping out some really fast lap times, that's for sure.
I think what the good news is for John here is that he'll be boxing the end of this lap, I reckon. I was hoping he'd try and make it to lap 49, but he won't have the fuel to do so, unfortunately. So that gap to Mountain Goat, while it will go down, he shouldn't get caught this lap, which is that was the aim, in my opinion, for John this stint. But yeah, Mountain Goat, he was finding upwards of a second a lap pretty consistently there for the last few laps. Insane to look at.
This will put them on even pit stops. Yeah, he's gonna be behind however long it takes him to pit. It's gonna be interesting to see whether John just does a small splash and does 2 really short sprints and another pit stop, or whether he tries to drag the next one out.
I think with the amount of time left in the race and with the pit loss, doing 2 stops from now, unless he's able to drop like 46 fives for the rest of the race, it wouldn't be worthwhile. He'd just end up being behind Goat and possibly Niflanosis and Foz there in that battle for the rest of the top 5.
Goat's going to have to at least pit again after this. But will John, do you think, have to pit after this again?
I think right now, John's planning on going to the end. If he pits again, then he's losing out. He's just going to lose too much time. Yeah. John's going to have to more or less chuck in enough fuel to go to the end here and hope that the tyres last.
And that's the thing with this as well. A lot of the time before in the past, like I'm only fairly new to S1, so I haven't seen a lot of the races, but a lot of the time we used to have like a choice of tyres with a mandatory tyre. So a race like this, you would generally have 91. John's gone to 91 meters.
Yeah, he's definitely going to the end here.
A race like this, generally you'd have like a mandatory medium or a mandatory hard tyre, which, just lets you really run out that whole tank of fuel. Although, if these guys are coming in with only a couple of litres of fuel in the tank, they're obviously getting enough out of the stint, even though they're losing, like you say, that 1.5 seconds per lap.
Yep.
But they're still making the tyres last the whole tank of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to quickly answer a question in the chat from Womble, Heathy has got 1 more stop to go, mate. 1 more stop to go. Right, yeah, let's see what's done there. So, Mountain Goat there, currently in the lead of the race. John is currently 30.5 seconds behind. And we estimated earlier on in the race, that was roughly 30 seconds for a pit stop. Ooh. John's going to have to put the hammer down here. He's going to have to absolutely abuse these tires, try and pull a bit of a gap on Goat before he goes for his sort of like last pit stop here. But then by doing so, he's going to use the tyre and then come to the end of them. John's stint, he's going to be very much vulnerable to Goat on his fresher tyres. John's going to have to really sort of drive fast yet conservative here to try and sort of get max speed out of the car without using all the car.
It's going to be interesting because Mountain Goat's going to have to come in and probably put in quite I'm not sure where he's going to pit, but he might have to put in quite a fair bit of fuel. Where I'm guessing John will slap on a set of fresh tyres and he'll be putting in just like a little squirt.
I think right.
Come into the pits on 0 fuel.
Yeah, nice into the pits on 0 fuel. He'd probably be bringing it to about roughly the 80, 70 something percent mark. Yeah, I think, going to John here. I think right now, what he should do is just go out and put the best laps he can in. Once Goat does his stop, if the gap between himself and Goat is sort of like stable at like roughly 15 seconds, then I consider going to the pits, a bit more fuel, fresh tyres, and then go out again. Because he should be able to either not lose that top spot, or be very close to go to the point where you can catch back up to him pretty quickly and be able to fight him for the last few laps. But if Goat goes for his pit stop and John is like less than 10 seconds ahead and that gap is just fading away, he's got to stay out.
Yeah, he's gonna, because at that last stint, if he only has to put a splash of fuel in, but he has a set of tyres that are possibly 6 to 8 laps fresher. He's going to be, but mind you, saying that, we have a bit of a look at the mountain goat and have a look at the times that he's doing. Like even in his slowest laps, just pre-pit stops, he's still pulling like high 47s.
Which, that's phenomenal pace. It's definitely better than what John was doing towards the end of his stints, without a doubt.
Yeah, John's dropped into the sort of higher to mid 48s. But in saying that, he's also doing those extra couple of laps. So you'd expect those tyres to drop off.
Yeah, that you definitely would. Like, he's putting more strain on the car, so the times will drop off accordingly. But his first final lap there on this fresh set of tyres are 47.6, which, honestly, not too bad a lap to start with, but hopefully, for his sake, he can improve upon that from there and try and get that down to the low 46s as old Wakey comes into the pits here with 1 litre of fuel. He'll be doing his last pit stop now.
A 147.6. I actually haven't hit the track yet myself, but I'm sort of looking at their lap times and thinking he's just done a 147.6 on his lap out. I'd probably be really stoked to get that on a quali. Really stoked.
I would be too. Absolutely. Answer another question in the chat there from Mr. CP himself, Chase. CPJ currently sitting in P7, my guy. Currently got about maybe 1 pit stop to go. He should be on here for a top 10, without a doubt. If he plays his cars right and uses the most out of the car, he should be able to get back to P7, I reckon, but we'll wait and see where he goes.
Yeah, he's looking strong.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Gap over Datsun. But Datsun, has Datsun pitted before him?
Datsun pit on lap 47, so Datsun's going to the end from here. He's sort of like effectively your, I guess, 3rd place car in regards to those who haven't got to stop again, I believe. I'll wait and see what happens here. I also missed as well, young Wacky also went for a pit stop like a lap or 2 ago. Currently down P11 right now, but he has got really fresh tyres beneath him. Gap to his next car in front of him, Evil Evo, is 14.4 seconds. And I'd say the gap's going to come down pretty quickly because a young Wacky, he'll be seeing the red mist right now.
There's about 13 seconds still, 30 seconds between Mountain Goat and John. Just having a look at it. BSR Fosto, he's sitting behind Niff, and he's got a bit ahead of John, but he's looking strong as well.
Yeah, I think the top of the cars are all looking great, and I'll also say as well, all of them being this lap, Niff could hypothetically start for another, but will the tyres agree with him if he does? We'll wait and see what he does here, but Man, Goat, Foz, Niff, they're definitely all due for a pit stop within the next 2 laps at most. And the gap is coming down, like you said, it was roughly like 30.8 seconds when John D's pit stop, now 29.3, so John is finding time. He's definitely, he's not finding it fast enough in my opinion. He needs a bit more than that, but I think it's going to be a little too late, because Man Goat comes around the Parabolica now. Does he pit? Yes he does. Rightio then. 30-second gap, 30-second pit stop. Let's see where John comes out. He just exits the Ascari chicane there. On the run down to the Parabolica. Man Goat just enters the pit box then. Tyres going on the car. Fuel man's getting ready. Fuel's going in. John's rounding the final corner as we speak. Look around for that 67 litre mark there for Mountain Goat. As Foz comes in, Niff goes around again. Goaty puts in 73 litres. He comes out. John, it's going to be a drag race to turn 1. John should get the most of him. Oh, it's going to be tight. Oh, come on. Oh, John gets the best of Goat there. But look, that gap is minuscule. Ooh. It's very much in favour of Goat here right now. Those fresher tyres are going to be helping him majorly here. So yeah,
John still has to pit.
No, John's pit. He's done. Both cars are done pit-wise. Like, I'd say for John, yeah, he did pit. Like, if Goat gets the best of him, John will have enough time in hand to box for fastest lap if he wants to, but for position, he's done. That's all the pit stops he's doing.
Yeah,
so, ladies and gentlemen,
man, brain getting that mixed up because I was actually looking before. I was having a bit of a look a bit further down the field, and just having a look at some of these guys. Like I say, we are over an hour and a half in, and some of these guys are still within a few seconds of each other.
Just have as well, CPJ completing his final pit stop, coming out in P10 there, 8.8 seconds behind Ricky Bobby. He'll be going to the end from here. 1.7 seconds behind CPJ is Young Wacky. Got a bit of a little benefit there for the undercut, but his tyres are going to be a bit more worn. So it could be a struggle here to get past CPJ when he does catch up. Yep, as your Nif comes into the pit lane here, John and Goat will clear him. Wheels, Lenosis and Foz factor into this. Right, Nif tyres come off, go on. Lenosis come down to the Parabolica as we speak. BSR Foz just behind. Nif there, 50 litres of fuel, probably going about the 60 mark as well. 68 litres in the tank. Yep, Nif has got them both. He is out and about, clear. Lenosis only crossing the start finish line right now. Nif, if he doesn't get third at this point, mate, he's done something terribly wrong.
Yeah, he's got himself a
It's a great drive there from Nif there to get up to P3 after sort of being on the back end of the 5 at the start of the race there. But just...
Datsun too is currently in 6th. It's quite a long way behind Foss, but he's just in front of Old Wakey. I don't know whether these guys are still yet getting though.
I've had a look through the grid currently, and right now there's only Steve Levo. He'll be due for another pit stop, that's a guarantee. Heafy's also due for one more still, and there's a possibility that Dadson could come in again if he wanted to, but he might have enough fuel to make it to the end. But I just want to point your attention, the battle for the lead is kicking off. We've got 20 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen, and we know exactly who's fighting for this win here. It's Mountain Goat versus John, BSR versus Lightning Motorsport. Oh, it's going to be a cracker. Strap in, no more P-brakes from you boys.
What's the tyre difference between these two guys?
Having Goat just having pit just before, his tyres are fresh as a daisy. John, he's probably about 3 or 4, sorry, I can't for you. He's 5 laps into this stint here, so he's definitely feeling a bit of pain as Mountain Goat searching for the outside line, the T1. John is going to give it up easy. They're side by side, a little bit of side draft action. Can he get the move done around the outside, Mountain Goat? No, he can't. John protects the inside line, covers the second apex, and they both power out of the corner. But now, John knows Mountain Goat's there. He's going to spend more time looking backwards than forwards here. Oh, this is getting saucy.
And those tyres are really going to come into play as well.
The more John fights Mountain Goat, the more it helps Mountain Goat in the long term. Mountain Goat there, looking for the inside into the second chicane, can't get it done. Oh, this is tight. John here, I'm not going to say he's a walking wounded yet, but he will be in about 10 laps time. Probably a bit less than, to be honest with you.
But we're an hour and 40 minutes in. We've seen 2 different strategies, and these guys are 3/10 of a second apart.
Yeah, I think John was probably hoping it was more like 3 seconds at this point, but yeah, you can only do what you can do, unfortunately, for John there.
The fact that he's done that different strategy and ran those longer times and lost a bit of time, but they're still coming out together is pretty amazing.
Right now, John, he's going to have to park on every apex comfortably and just gently turn the steering wheel. Because right now, Mountain Goat, he's not going to be too worried about saving the car. He knows he's got an advantage. He's going to be trying to sort of get past him and pull away. It's very much in John's court and deciding how he wants to play the game. John here going very wide at the parabolic curve, cuts back under to defend the inside line for the first corner. Look at these two again. They're going to do it again. Round 2, T1, Mountain Goat outside, John inside.
He's getting past too.
Mountain Goat's got a better run here. He does edge in front ever so slightly, but John's still got the inside line. He's definitely got it covered. Mountain Goat tries to go deep, very deep. John can't cover it. Oh yes he can, round the outside, turn 2. Oh, gives John the inside for the Curva Grande, I believe it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mountain Goat has to slot back in, but what it does, gives Goat a little bit of a slipstream to try and get past into the second chicane now. And Goat knows it. John's going to have to go deep under brakes here. He does, holds the outside, becomes the inside. Still keeps position, oh, a little bit squirmy. And John, he's lost the position, Goat gets past.
I got to take back what I said before about there's only room for one car through those chicanes, because they just went through lots of chicanes side by side.
Well, and right now, that is insane. I think right now at this point, John, he's not out of it yet, but he's going to have to literally get past Goat very quickly here and start defending his hard out once again, because once his tyres go, that's the game, it's done. He's still got a little bit of life in it currently. He should be able to match go his lap times pretty consistently with a slipstream, but yeah, right now it's advantage Goaty at this point.
I have heard, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but when you're slipstreaming someone, I've heard that you get, like, obviously you can save a bit of fuel, but I've heard it's also harder on your tyres, and I don't know if there's any truth to that. It's just something I did hear.
There is absolutely truth to that. When you're in the dirty air there, you sort of got less air pushing the car into the ground, so to compensate if you're having less area to turn the car into you turn the steering wheel harder, scrubs the tyres more, uses them more.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking as well, because definitely the front end on these cars, more race cars, I guess, when you're that close to someone coming in the corners, you lose that air coming off the front of the car, so the front end becomes very light and you lose steering, and like you say, you're then adding more steering to get the same sort of radius on that turn, so that would obviously wear the tyres more.
I want to really take away from that battle for P1 P2 there between John and Goat, but a nice little battle here forming between Dadson and Old Wacky in P6 and P7. Wacky's got a nice little run here going down to the first corner. Will he duck out? He does duck out here. Tries to get an inside move done. He's plays past plenty enough up the inside. Dadson doesn't find it too hard. There you go. Gives him room.
I was going to say before too, Mountain Goat and John as well. Both of those guys showing world-class racing there, like two cars side by side going through those chicanes, and I don't believe there was any contact whatsoever. They've both given each other room, and they've only used half the track. That's going from outside to inside on the corners. That's really impressive.
It's not true what they say about John and Goat. They actually are very clean drivers when they're racing each other, and they're racing for a purpose. And look, yeah, like you said, they're going through sections of the track, but they're generally only wide enough for one car, and they're getting through there too wide, no problem at all. Contact, everyone's surviving, having a nice day, and it's good to see that the Division 1 boys here, while they're still fighting hard, they're fighting fair.
Dadson could come under attack here from Ricky Bobby, who's closing in on him as well.
Yeah, I've got a feeling on Dadson, he might have pulled the pin too early. His tyres and his fuel is looking a bit how you going. He might make it to the end, but it's going to be touch and go for him here, I reckon.
How much has Ricky Bobby got over CY? He's got, well, yeah, so even if Dadson does lose this spot to Ricky Bobby, he'd have to lose quite a fair bit to get back into the clutches of CP.
Yeah, I think right now, yeah, and Dadson's coming in, there you go. Alright, we'll get a bloody taste right now. So Dadson here possibly going for that fastest lap. We'll see how he goes with that one. But CPJ was 12 seconds behind. CPJ and Wacky will probably get past him here. Yep, they definitely will.
It's probably why Dadson didn't fight for that as well, knowing that he was going to come in for a pit stop.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
good though.
no.
It's really good to see these guys, especially when you've done, we are what now 45 into it. At this stage of the race, it doesn't matter really where you are on the track. If your Ricky Bobby's just gone through, that wind's starting to move around a little bit as well on that coming down this left-hand side of the track, this first sections of the track. So we might see that time drop. Although the fastest couple of guys are still out the front and they've done their final pit stop. So just looking out the back end.
You never know, anything's possible. Definitely the conditions have sort of cooled down a bit, which should allow for the cars to go a bit faster. Not as much UV on the track. Dadson's in prime position here to take that fastest lap, I reckon. He may need a slipstream just to try and sort of edge out that a little bit further to be sure he gets it. But yeah, like you said, most people have done their last pit stops now. Dadson's the only car with like fresh tyres on at this point in time. Heafy as well, so also pretty fresh.
He's going to have fresh tyres and very little fuel. So I wouldn't be surprised if you will try and have a crack at that.
We'll keep an eye on him, see how he goes. Now, he's in a fight to get to that elusive P10 spot with Stickers. 1.3 seconds the gap, and yeah, Stickers got the fuel to make it to the end, but the tyres, yeah, look, I wouldn't trust the tyres to make it to the end in one piece.
I tell you what, John, he is sticking to the back of Goat. He's still under a second behind him. He was down to about 6-7 tenths before, but lost a little bit maybe on that straight. But he's not letting him get away.
He's definitely giving it all, Johnny boy. But I think right now for him, he needs to find something a bit extra, I reckon, just because the tyre wear difference between him and Goat, it's almost night and day at this point. Like, if Goat makes a major error and John can get back past, the game is back on. But right now, I think John's going to need an absolute miracle, not miracle I should say, but an absolute send through that first chicane, like trying to maximise the track limits and try and gain as much time as possible on Mountain Goat there. But for reference, last time around, Mountain Goat did a 47.7, John did a 48 dead. So yeah, John is losing a bit of time currently. Not much, but yeah, I think it's only going to get, the gap's only get bigger and bigger as John's tyres start to wear.
Yeah, he's probably getting a little bit of advantage of that slipstream at the moment as well. I think once that, if he drops out of that little bit of a slipstream, who was that just pulled over and let them through? Was that Heafy?
Yeah, it certainly was Heafy, and I'm sure John was hoping that Heafy would sort of accidentally balk Goat a little bit to try and get a bit of time back, but Heafy there, doing the right thing, getting out of the way of the leaders, letting them do their race, and do his own.
Yeah, it's always good to see someone that's a bit of a back marker, stick it out of that way, and it's not always easy, because especially if you're fighting for a position yourself, you can lose a bit of time to someone, and it's not always a good spot to pull over and let people through as well.
Speaking as well, going back to your fastest lap watch, Karen Unleashed there just went to the pits, didn't take any fuel but put fresh tyres on. Look out for him to possibly challenge that fastest lap as the race goes on here.
Just drop back down through the field and have a bit of a wake. He seems to be sort of sitting there in no man's land.
Yeah, he was very close to CPJ for the longest time there, but yeah, his tyres have dropped off and he's just fallen behind. Like currently in the 48s, 49s pretty consistently, while CPJ is very much in the 47s.
Yes, that's it. He's got those fresh tyres and low fuel. He's done a 147.8 when that must have been his first full lap, so he's not far off it either. So he's got the foot down as well. 7 seconds behind you, wacky, but he's probably got the tyres.
He certainly does. Yeah, look, they're not too bad at this point, but definitely come 2-3 laps time, not going to be looking too pretty.
Yeah, and it already looks like he's probably pulling maybe a couple of tenths, like even in the last 20 seconds or so, he's pulling a couple of tenths out of him, so it's definitely that foot down.
Yep. We've also got another battle forming on track here. Battle for the best of the rest. P4, P5, Lenosis and BSR followers. Currently, no point telling you a time gap because you can see it clear as day right here.
Someone's out of fuel, I think.
Did you say someone's out of fuel?
I think so.
Okay, I'm not sure what you see, but I cannot see anyone out of fuel at this point in time.
Is it Wakey? I'm sure I've seen his indicators flashing and it looked like he pulled over, unless he was just letting him through.
That's a possibility. Could have been doing that maybe. But yeah, right now, and Foz has got ahead of Lenosis. Oh, they're trying to go too wide for a second. Lesmo. Oh, they both survived it. Foz gets moved home around the outside. What a move. Oh, that's very much pulling your pants type stuff. They're going around the outside of second Lesmo. So easy to get sent to the sand there.
From a driver's point of view, like obviously you want to be as high up on that finish position as you want, but when you're in a 2-hour enduro race, the last thing you want to be is like 10 seconds from the guy in front and 10 seconds in front of the guy behind you. On these long races, you still want to battle. You still want to have a really good race, and you just don't want to be just throwing laps together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You don't want to just be on your own, just essentially doing hot laps for 2 hours. Like that's not what we come here to see. It's not what they come here to do. But yeah, it's good to see that there are still battles on track. Currently, Mountain Goat's put 3 seconds on John. That battle's done. See you later, Alligator. Niff, he's in no man's land currently with about 10 seconds either way, so he's doing what we just said about not doing. Naughty Niff. But yeah.
If he's actually sitting behind John now, so I'd say John has seen the best of those tyres, and yeah, he's down to the high. His last lap was a high of 48. So
yeah,
if he's sort of sticking to the back of him as well.
Yeah, I think at this point
he's right down the field, but he's still going to be back to his spot.
I think the plan of attack for John is to now just not lose P2. I think right now, the way his tyres are, the way he's losing time, E1's probably out of the question, but definitely P2, as long as he keeps on the black stuff, that's easily possible.
The one that's confusing me, it must be the stickers. He must have... Because at one stage he was in the top 10, but it must have been a pit thing where he's pitted at the... he hadn't pitted it, so he was a couple of spots ahead.
Yeah, doing like a more sort of similar strategy to like your Johns, your Niffs, sorry not your Niffs, your Lenosises, sort of doing the less pit stops but going a bit slower because of it to try and sort of maintain the tyre. But yeah, no, all things considered, he's doing a good job of it, but yeah, currently just sitting in no man's land, P12, 15 seconds either way essentially. But yeah, putting in a good job.
Speaking of Niff, he's sitting pretty third, like he's 11 seconds behind John, but he's got a good 9.5 seconds ahead of BSR Boss. So, failing anything, he's got himself a nice podium there as well.
I'd say right now, the only sort of battle we have on track, in my opinion, is the one between Lenosis and BSR Foz. Currently separated by just over 3/4 of a second approximately. The BSR Foz has got the advantage tyre-wise. Fuel-wise, they're exactly the same. So I think right now Lenosis, he's fighting a similar battle to John where he needs to try and get back in front before the tyres go off. And then from there, it's just a case of defending your hard out. But I think it's getting close to that point where Lenosis' tyres are going to be on the way out.
I reckon it's getting close enough to this point. These guys are going, come on, just end it.
Yeah, look, this is probably going to be the longest 5 minutes of their lives, I reckon, but we'll see what happens. Hey, mate, there's still 5 minutes. Anything's possible. Mountain Goat, John, Niff, Foz, Lenosis, and Ricky Bobby could crash, give an old Wakey the win. We don't know. Anything's possible.
No, I reckon old Wakey would be happy with that himself, but you never want to see someone crash. But,
yeah, currently, yeah, like, looking at, speaking of old Wakey as well, currently 3 seconds behind Ricky Bobby. He's pretty much got the exact same car beneath him compared to Ricky Bobby, sort of tyre and fuel-wise. So if he puts the hammer down, he will use more of the car, of course, but he may be shrink that gap to Ricky Bobby, but I think if he were to do that, he would have no car to fight with and he'd just end up falling back again. So Yeah, I think for right now, old Wakey, it's going to be the case of just holding position, I think. If someone in the front in front of him makes a mistake and can capitalise on it, absolutely. But yeah, nah, it's pretty much where he is for old Wakey. But I've actually talked about it myself. Ricky Bobby in P6, he spun out at the start of the race there, and he's back to P6. That's a phenomenal drive from Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, he's done really well.
He's putting in some play. Yeah, lap time wise, he hasn't been touching the likes of like your Mountain Goat Johns and whatnot, but the times he's been putting in has been bloody consistent. Absolutely great to watch.
I think barring any real problem, I think the grid could have sorted itself out to where we might see people finish, to be honest.
Yeah, right now I can't see any sort of like any more positions changing via battles, so to speak, at this point in time. Like the gap between Foz and Lenosis has opened up, so that battle looks to be at its end, unless Foz makes a mistake. But yeah, right now everyone seems to have found their own piece of real estate, and it's just doing their thing. As I say that, we've got a nice little battle here between Wacky and Evil Evo for that elusive P10.
Looks like Leafy's trying to, and he does too. Leafy's popped back in front of John, so he's effectively just unlapped himself, I think.
To an extent he has, without a doubt, yeah. But I'd say if you're not already, mate, jump onto that battle for P10, because this is a corker to watch. Wacky and Evil Evo going hammer and tong. Wacky's fighting for dear life on those tyres. Evil Evo's got a much better car beneath him. Ooh.
That elusive top 10. Fancy that. Fancy going in nearly 2 hours and you're right at the back of this and you're like, it's half a second or so, 3/4 of a second. You're breaking you from the top of the end.
Yeah, I think right now that gap's only going to close. Evil Evo has got a great car beneath him. Wacky, yeah, his tyres, I hate to say it, but they're putrid currently. I think he's definitely gassed him up way too hard, but he had sort of really everything to gain, nothing to lose, I think is the terminology I'm looking for. If he didn't gun it, he would never know if he could catch up to the cars in front. As Evil Evo goes to the outside, Wacky's holding the inside line. Can Evil Evo do an outside move here at the Paralica? He goes deep under brakes. Holds it, gets the power out of the corner. They're still side by side. Ooh, Turn 1's going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Strap on in for this one. Evil Evo sails back into the slipstream, gets a little slingshot effect coming on. Tries the inside, there's no room there. Back to the outside. Does he go? He goes very deep under brakes. Round the outside. Bit of contact, but they make it through all right. Evil Evo to P10.
That's ballsy, especially this end of the race.
Oh wow, look.
Under 2 minutes to go.
I think Evil Evo, he had 2 options in his head: win it or bin it, and he went for win it.
I tell you what, though.
Yeah. Oh, goes deep. The old switcheroo.
They're not giving up. Oh.
Nah, this battle isn't over yet here, ladies and gentlemen. I think Wacky here, he's going to need to really get a move soon because his tyres are going to start to possibly delaminate the way things are looking pretty soon here. Yeah, the gap's already out to half a second.
We're coming down, we've got under a minute to go and these guys are back the top 10.
Couldn't tell you if it's the first lap or the last lap with these two battling the way they are.
No, it's really good to see them.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely marvellous, but I hate to say it, but we could get another battle here. Hang on a second. The gap between John and Niff is coming down exponentially. John's got absolutely no tyres left. Niff could snag a P2.
I just seen him. He's pulling massive time on him.
Oh, yeah, John, he's fighting for dear life with that car.
Yep.
Oh, yep. But this will be the last lap of everyone here, so John's got to survive a few more corners. But Niff, he knows he's got the advantage. He's got the car beneath him. Around the outside of the Ascari chicane. Can he do it? He does do it. No. Good sir. Wow, Niff to P2. But come up to the finish line, Mountain goes.
Nursing it.
Yeah. Mountain goes back across the finish line here, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely sensational performance once again from the kid. Crossed the line, 13 seconds ahead of Niff in P2. Definitely a nomination-worthy person for driver of the day there. Rouse stripe to get P2. John's nursing the car home for a P3. Yeah, he went a bit too long on that last stint there and just, the tyres couldn't handle it. Foz there take a nice P4, nice result there for the season he's having so far. Nice debut season for Foz for BSR. Anosis will take P5 in the end. Great job there from him. Almost killed his tyres by the looks of it. His teammate Ricky Bobby rammed in the Parabolica. And honestly, right now, I'm saying, like, it's tough to call, but I have to give Ricky Bobby my driver of the day. Ricky Bobby nearly drifts it through the Parabolica, putting on a show for the fans. Gets that P6 spot. Well done there from Ricky Bobby. Old Wakey a couple seconds behind him there. Takes P7. Well done there for the Black Rose Racing driver. CPJ for P8 and Karen Unleashed P14. Crossing the finish line at the same time there. Dadson there, P9. Unfortunately couldn't snag that fastest lap. I did put in some fast laps without a doubt there. Evil Evo as Wacky spins in the background. Oh! And Wacky loses a spot to Stickers as well. Oh!
Good for Stickers, but not for Evil Evo.
Oh, for Wacky.
For Wacky, yeah, sorry.
Yep. Evil Evo takes elusive P10, Stickers to P11.
The last corner.
Yeah, Wacky, unfortunately, a race to forget for him. Heafy in P13. Oh, what a race. 2 hours of sensational driving there from everyone. Well, while you're getting the results ready, ladies and gentlemen, chuck your driver of the day nominations in the chat, because my god, there's a few to choose from. Holy.
I got excited at the end and pressed the wrong button. That was just, I can't believe like how some of those, and right at the end, the last corner, you'd have to be gutted, wouldn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately for Wacky there, he did everything he could, but yeah, just unfortunately the race didn't go his way tonight, and it happens to the best of us. But all you can do now is just sort of stop and reflect on it and come back next week and hopefully improve.
Yeah. Well, let's have a bit of a look at how we finished up. So we have Mountain Goat with a nearly 14 seconds over If, who did an outstanding job, and poor John there in third. He fought the battle of a lifetime, but in those last dying few laps, his tyres, you could see him through that last chicane, just absolutely battling to hold on to it. But great effort, gave us a lot of action, especially those first opening stint, and the different strategies between those two guys was really great to see. But yeah, Nick just pulled it off in the end, got himself in second spot. We dropped back into fourth. We got BSR Foss, who's also had a very strong race. Lenosis in fifth, Ricky Bobby in sixth, Old Wakey in seventh, eighth is CPJ, eighth, ninth is Datsun, and dropping into the top 10 is Evil Evo. And Stickers got himself 11th in the end after Young Wakey, who's come in 12th, had that bit of a spin. And then Heafy and Karen Unleashed. So, that's the end of that. I bet you them guys are happy that is over.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot of guys there that are probably very much keen to go to the toilet and unload an insane amount of liquid ballast from their bodies. I'm sure they've been building up for the past 2.5 hours, give or take. But yeah, look, hey, let's go through the chat right now. I'll have a look, well, not through the chat, but I'll ask you first, Snake Eyes. Who is your driver of the day, big fella?
Oh, I tell you what, it's a tough one, but there was such some good racing and battling and up and down the track. But I think I'm going to have to give it to Niff. He sort of kept there, and he was there, and he sort of just that last moment, had that little bit of tire to pop himself in that last lap or so in front of John. I think he's really pulled one out of the hat with that.
Yep. No, I think I agree that Niff is definitely worthy. He's I'm giving him a bloody extremely honourable mention, but I've got to give my driver dad to Ricky Bobby to go from spinning at the start of the race to end up P6. That's a phenomenal drive from him there
Yeah,
to get so, and it just makes you think, what if he didn't have that spin? He would probably have been fighting for a spot in the top five, possibly on the podium. But going through a chat here as well, the chat seems to agree with both you and I to an extent. Womble and Carbon Boy both giving their driver of the day nods to Ricky Bobby. VF and Gurr giving it to Niff. Keza for Niff. Womble's giving a second one to Ricky Bobby. I know you can vote twice, but I like where your head's at, son. Debrev's giving it to Niff. So I'd say, look, at this point in time, I think Niff might just edge it out, but we'll wait and see if there's any other votes that come in to the chat there later on. But right now, definitely two worthy people getting the nods for driver of the day, in my opinion.
yeah. I sort of forgot about Ricky Bobby spinning out there, coming off at the start, and then fighting his way back to sixth. So that's always really good to see. Um, and he's yeah, like you say, he could have been right up there. He could have been in for a spot for the podium.
Yeah, that's racing, unfortunately. In racing, you're going to lose more races than you win. So it's not about how hard you hit, but get hit and keep on moving.
Yeah, and sometimes too, we've seen it before where people have a bit of a comeback, and they don't get on the podium, but they do get driver of the day. And so to have a comeback, especially after something like that, it's really good to see. They put their head down, ass up, and they just go for it, and the results speak for himself to go from last into sixth. And
Yeah.
just looking at some of those, I know I've gone off the screen, but just looking at some of those, the fastest lap times for that race as well. Obviously, Godey with a 46.7 in race pace. That's pretty crazy. But so many, John was a 46. But if we go through and have a look, Besar, Foss, Lenosis, Ricky Bobby, Old Wakey, um, Niff himself as well. They were all in the very low 47, so 47 too. So some cracking pace out of these guys in a 2 hour race. I reckon they'd be like you say, either heading straight for the little boys' room or chugging down something to drink, I would say.
Mate, who knows? I might be doing both at the same time. A little bit of reduce, reuse, recycling.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't go into that, I don't think. What time is it? Is it past? Oh, it's well past 9 o'clock. So
Yeah, well
yeah,
and
but
truly.
yeah, some great driving all around tonight from these guys. It was really good to see, and we also seen some, you know, guys getting out of the way, letting people through, and we did see some really close battles, guys that were actually battling, but also we've seen guys that knew they were either going to pit next, or they might have had a bit of a penalty, or they'll just off that pace a little bit from the guy that was trying to get in front of them, and they let them through. So it's always really good to see some really nice, clean racing out of these guys.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. Like, across all four divisions we have here, all the racing's always very clean. Everyone's trying to sort of definitely fight for the position, but not just try and barge their way through or do something just
Yeah,
morally wrong.
I'll be
Uh,
a bit disappointed too if the battle between Mountain Goat and John on those two chicanes side by side, if that doesn't end up somewhere on the intro or in one of the replays at some stage, I'll be pretty disappointed, because that was those guys huge respect to each other, gave each other room, especially that late in the race. It was really good to see.
Certainly was, but I think yeah, the racing's done. I think it's about time we closed up for the night and close the doors of the cons box, turn the lights off, and we'll come back here in a week's time and do it all again. I reckon.
All right. Thanks for everyone that tuned in to watch, and thank you very much for the help in the comms box tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Snake Eyes, once again for hosting, mate. Love your work as always with the streaming. Yeah, small error at the start, but yeah, look, it happens, mate. It's all good. We got through it, and we still got a good race out of it. So yeah, and thank you everyone at home for watching as well. And if you haven't already, don't be afraid to like the stream and subscribe if you're not already. If you want to see more races like this, and if you want to as well, I mean, not already, jump into our Discord server. Come in, say good day. We don't bite too hard. If you want to see yourself on the grid here one day, the community series is the best place to start. And I believe our next race in the community series will be in a couple of weeks' time, but I'll have to confirm that one for you guys. But no, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next time, I reckon.
Yeah, good night and thank you very much.